Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
You will bring the jury.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy, do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughened him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their courtroom.
The fireworks are not done.
Now we're getting commentary on the case.
Is that correct?
Dahil mihi Anglican police service watching.
That's literally not true.
I didn't ask you to interrupt me. Oh, for Trump's sake.
Welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. Happy Podcast Thursday to you. Seems really loud in my ears. Pre-trial. Yes, we need a little Judge Manning about right now.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
There she is. All right. We still got the afternoon left. Yes, we do. We do. We'll be going to court here in just a minute. I did not go to the store. I've decided I'm going to wait till the last minute like everybody else and then go maybe tonight. I don't know. We've got the podcast tonight. Maybe I'll go tomorrow during lunch or after work. It's going to be packed. Yeah, about that. Apparently, Ryan Hall, y'all says, you know how the storm shifted north? Well, it shifted back down. So I thought maybe we're out of the woods. No, it's bad again. It's bad. Sorry. So, all right. Let's see. What do we have going on? Oh, my print finished, and I made a mistake. I printed it large. I was supposed to do 97% size instead of. I printed 103, so it's now 6% larger than I wanted it to be, which means that the little thing just like falls in and falls back out with no tension. So I'll start over on that one. But now I have 3. I've got 3 of these. That's nice. In case I ever become diabetic and need this particular clip. You're going to get much of it. Looks like it might miss you. Some of the ice map particularly is the one that we're concerned about. Jack Reese charged up. Yes. Let's see. Super cool. I love it. This is so much fun. The kids love it too. I honestly, every time I want to print something, I'm like, kids, can I please use the printer? They're like, we'll tell you when we're done. And like 2 hours later, it's like, how about now? Nope. Got an hour and 15 minutes left on this print, and then I've got one more after that. So the kids are all right now out exercising. They're at the gym, not like the Gold's gym, but a kid's gym. And so let's see, you can always get your TP delivered. We used Who Gives a Crap. I guess that's the name. Who Gives a Crap? That's a good name for a toilet paper delivery service. We're going to get iced up and not in a fun way. Yeah. They mostly run 24/7. We have 2 3D printers. I tell you, I'm hooked. I thought that the kids it would fade over time. I don't think it has. They're just enjoying it more and more, and just put some foamy tape along the insides to make the larger print work. It could. I'm going to use a smaller print and then foamy tape on the back and see if that works. Try this using your printer's IP address. Hang on. Hold please. Tech stuff is happening here. And my battery's low. My phone is dead. Everything else is charged. My phone is dead. Good info there. More consistent stream using your printer's IP address. Okay, I might try to do that. I don't have it printing right now because trying to go live, but let's see. Thal, you're here. Well, Kolivar, you're here. Welcome. Thal, I swear, I heard your voice on a video game. I heard, watching somebody play a video game, I heard your voice on the game. You have to tell me if there are any new games you're into. Welcome back.
In front of the Walmart.
It's Thal in the house. Tisha's like, hubby, is that you? Chat's not on. I have to turn the chat on so I can say, Greeners, you won the internet with the full alphabet. Let's see. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. That looks like everything's there. Thank you. I am everywhere. Welcome. Greeners. Everything internet related is your responsibility.
Sure. Sorry.
All right, state approaches. State asks to approach as lunch is over. The collar has been fixed. Thank you, thank you, thank you, whoever did that. I'm going to attribute the bailiff to that, helping with the fashion for Mr. Brandon there. What's funny is Thal comes in and tackle hugs Amber, and then Thal's internet wife, Tisha, is that you? I'm just saying. I'm just saying the order was interesting. That's all. It's good to have you back here, Thal. Welcome. Let's see. Quick sidebar before we begin. Thal just went to the store to get milk. He came back. It just takes a while sometimes. Let's see. Bailiff's happy. I'm hoping for the defense case, I'm hoping that we get more spice, that some of this pans out. Right now, it seems like they're trying really hard, but it's not landing the way they think it could have. And part of that is because the state's doing a great job objecting and not being able to really build the story the way they want. The state's objecting talking right now, they probably have an issue with something that happened just a little bit ago. But as they say in The Lion King, it's in the past. I'm not sure how you can remedy that right now. Red Pen says, I got the first tackle hug. Nice. Yes, always tackle hug your wife first. That's the right order. Was the trash or safe ever checked by the police? I'm sure the safe was because it was open and it was in the pictures. You want the link to the 3D printer? I can do that. I can do that. Hold, please. Put in a link to Sticker Mule, which is a great company I love, but that's not what you're looking for. I'll fix it. All right, there you go. There's the link to the 3D printer. That's the one I have. It's not necessarily the right one for you, but it's one that the price point was right for us to have that be the big family gift this year. And it was also on sale when we bought it, which helped. And it was it's been really good. I would say there's a little bit of a learning curve to understand how printers work, and taking something from a drawing on a computer, making something 3D and then slicing it so a printer will print it, because it actually prints layers. Like, imagine slicing something from the bottom to the top like 500 times and then printing each one at a time, one layer at a time. That's how it prints. So it builds one layer upon another. So once you understand that, it makes a lot of sense. It's fun. Long sidebar here. See if I can zoom in and read some lips. Judge has an inquisitive look on her face. And of course now they turn away so we can't see. Seems way complicated. I would say it's not for everybody. A 3D printer is not for everybody, and it's definitely, if you do like them, not a cheap hobby. Even if you can afford the printer, as you're printing, you'll find out that the filament costs. It's between $15 and $25 for what is it? Is it 2 kilo roll or 2 pound? I don't know what it is. So we've gone through a handful of those. So it's like crochet. Yeah. I am curious. I was going to look and see. Rob has 3 3D printers. Yes. Once you have one, you can see why you would have 2. And then once you have 2, you can see why you have 3. It's very easy to go from I just want to try this one time to I now have a print farm in my basement. 1 kilogram, 2.2 pounds. That's the size roll that I use. Where do you get the material? Amazon. And thank you, Bug Dugger. Amber forced me to give a list of the ones my kids like using, and Bug Dugger used the Amazon wish list.
Are you ready for the jury then?
Yes, ma'am.
I love listening, Mr. Carroll.
I can show you what it looks like.
Thank you.
There you go. This is my kids' Amazon wish list for 3D printer filaments. Bless you.
Let's get the witness back on the stand.
Go fetch your man.
Sir, just a reminder, you're still under oath, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, your next question.
Yes, sir, Mr. Giacchio.
Could you move the microphone back towards yourself there?
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Very good.
But not when you do that.
Lieutenant Giacchio, I'm going to ask you to look at what has been identified as Defense Exhibit 102. Do you recall that conversation and who it was with?
Yes, and it was with Deputy Chief Bruce.
Okay. And, Your Honor, if I move that into evidence?
Oh,
Thank you. Any objection?
No, ma'am.
All right, 102 in evidence.
Now, the date is significant for what reason?
I believe that's the date of the proffer.
Okay.
That's when Juliana told her story.
Was the proffer occurring at that time?
It was later that evening.
Okay. And what time did the proffer start, do you know, in the evening?
I believe somewhere around 4 or 5 is when we began. I don't recall exactly, though. It was in the evening hour, so.
Were you in the room where the proffer was occurring or the room next door?
Next door.
Okay. And how were you linked up to the proffer?
By phone.
Whoa.
A phone was just left open and you could just listen to it?
Correct.
Okay.
Offer will be manslaughter with time served after
Was there
BA
not
trial.
enough room in
That's
the area
dog.
where the proffer was occurring?
It's a relatively small conference room, but it was a decision of the Commonwealth Attorney who was in there.
Okay. Who was the Commonwealth Attorney?
That was Mr. Klingon at the time.
Okay. And was the decision that you would be out?
Yes.
Or there wasn't enough room?
I can't speak to what his mindset was. I mean,
He told you you're out.
correct.
Okay. Now, I think we have a previous exhibit where it was requested that you hold back information from Klingon and Kelsey Gill. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Was that around the same time frame as this?
I don't know if you could show me the exhibit. I
Let me
can tell
see if
you.
I can
Yeah.
get the exhibit for you. Exhibit 100.
It looks like that was in June, middle of June 12th.
Okay. Did it ever come to light that you were holding back information from the Commonwealth Attorney?
We weren't holding back information. It was simply to allow time for, I think, Deputy Chief Bruce to notify up the chain of command.
Oh, okay. So is that reflected here in this message?
No, but that wasn't unusual.
Okay. Was there some reason that Deputy Chief Bruce or you, if you can answer, didn't want to include the prosecutors in this case?
We always included the prosecutors, but there was a major piece or a major change, then I would notify Deputy Chief Bruce and he would notify it up the chain to the Chief of Police. And we wanted to allow time for him to be aware of it on our side so that he would hear from it from us rather than from the Commonwealth Attorney's Office.
Okay, so looking at this exhibit that's been introduced into evidence, was the meeting with Celebrite a major change?
I think that what he's referring to is the blood evidence, not the meeting with Celebrite.
Okay, because Celebrite doesn't have anything to do with blood, correct?
No, that's digital evidence.
Okay, I'm just following my questions up on your statement saying whenever there are major changes, we might delay so he can go up the command staff chain before telling anyone else. So what I'm asking about is in this one, is Celebrite a major change?
Judge, I'm going to object. I think objection is to form. Mr. Carroll is misreading the information. There was no meeting with Celebrite. The statement is meeting with task force after Celebrite.
All right. Also states the form.
You testified that traditionally Deputy Chief Bruce would say, hold off so he could send it up the flagpole, essentially, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
But I think you're confusing what information. The information is the blood information that he's asking me to hold off on is the way I understand it.
Well, yeah,
The Celebrite has nothing to do with the later statement.
And where does it say that?
Well, I'm saying that.
Okay. And so that would be what you've just testified to was that this would happen when there were major changes so that everyone and staff could know and be able to answer questions by the press and things like that. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And in this case, what I'm saying is what is the major change in the case that would cause there to be some delay in talking to the prosecutors?
The blood evidence. So Christine's blood inside Juliana's shoes and on Brendan's pants.
Okay.
That was new information. So that was something that I considered significant.
Okay, you sent that on. And then, so you remember that moment?
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember sending the text, yes.
But do you remember it as you're reading this text, what the context of it was?
Yes, we got a lab sheet back that contained new blood information, and I notified my chain of command.
And so what about that would not directly relate to information the prosecutors need?
I'm not really following what you're trying to ask.
Okay, I'm trying to understand why there's any need to hold back evidence from the prosecutors.
There was no holding back evidence. It was merely giving time for it to get up our chain before the notification was made to the prosecutor's office.
Okay, and you don't know specifically what that time was?
I think I testified earlier, it was no longer than 24 hours. It was either later that evening or the following day.
Okay, but we're now talking about this major event of the blood evidence that's referenced here, and that doesn't tell you any different?
Objection leading. Counsel's testifying.
Is leading.
Now that we're identifying what it is that was the major evidence break, do you remember why you were holding back and when you ultimately gave them the information?
Again, Judge Aston answered. He has testified that he does not recall specifically when he shared the information, but he knows that it would have been within 24 hours.
I think that was previously, Judge, when we weren't talking about the major event, which is what he just testified to.
All right, I'll overrule. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, can you repeat them?
So what was it about this major event with, I guess, a lab sheet coming back that caused you to hold it back from the prosecutors? And then my question is, if it's a major event, wouldn't you have an idea of how long you're holding it back from the prosecutors?
I wouldn't say major. It's a significant thing that we get a lab sheet in that shows blood evidence. There's no holding back. The evidence was all provided to the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, but we allow time when we get some kind of information for it to go up the chain of command so that they're all aware of it, so that they can, if the Commonwealth Attorney's Office calls over to somebody higher ranking, that they can speak educated about it.
So is that a policy?
I mean, it's just how we do business. There's not a policy.
But I mean, somebody has to determine it's major and somebody has to then make the decision whether it gets held off.
I think it would go to my discretion, whether it's something I'm going to notify my chain of command, and they're going to tell me sometimes they're not, it's not significant enough that they would hold it back. Or perhaps, if it was a phone call and the deputy chief was with the chief or the assistant chief, they could relay it immediately. In this case, I'm assuming that the deputy chief didn't have immediate access and was waiting for some reasonable amount of time so that he could make that notification prior to bringing the Commonwealth Attorney into the loop.
How many times in this case did you find yourself speaking to Deputy Chief Bruce at the time about holding back evidence from the prosecutors?
Again, we're not holding anything back. We're making notifications and then notifying the Commonwealth Attorney.
Well, couldn't it also be done as telling them, hey, we haven't made notifications, keep this under
Objection leading.
Sustain.
Weren't there other ways to do that with involving the Commonwealth Attorney's Office?
Well, they were involved.
Not if it was being held back.
Objection argumentative.
Sustain.
I'll sustain the objection.
You just testified that they weren't involved because you were holding back.
Objection leading.
Sustain the objection.
Okay. Let's go back to exhibit number 102. This was it looks like the entire chain was October 25th, which is that I think you had previously said was the day that Juliana Perez Magalhães recanted.
Yes.
Okay. And it looks as though, and Your Honor, I'm sorry, have I moved this into evidence yet?
Yes, that's already been.
Okay. Okay. And you're the blue bubbles there, correct?
Correct.
And I guess the offer hasn't been made yet, but you have the offer there, or has it already been accepted?
I don't know. Okay. I'm aware of the offer. I don't know if it had been accepted yet, I guess is what I don't know the answer to that.
And who would have been involved with that process?
The Commonwealth Attorney's Office.
And do you know who made the offer?
I believe it was Mr. Klingon.
Okay. Did you talk to him before that?
I talked to him
about the offer?
Yeah, there was discussions throughout the case about a potential offer.
Okay. When was the first time that an offer was made in your recollection?
I don't know.
Could it have been around January 1st?
Objection leading.
How long were offers going on as far as you knew?
I don't know.
Were you privy to all offers that were made?
I don't know.
Do you know of any other offers other than this one being made to her?
I believe there were others. I don't know the ins and outs of them.
Okay. And would that be because of your capacity as a lieutenant in homicide?
Well, the police department investigates and the prosecutor's office prosecutes, so they make those prosecutorial decisions, and I'm not always privy to them.
Okay. How many offers were you privy to?
I know that there were other offers made. I couldn't tell you if it was more than one. I just know that there was discussion that there were previous offers.
Okay. And in the context of the calendar year, and the big events of that calendar year of 24, were there offers made before Brendan was arrested?
I believe so, but I wouldn't know the details of that.
Okay. Were there offers made before the preliminary hearing that was a cause for concern for the fail-safe?
I believe so, but I don't know for sure.
Okay. That was a pretty big event though, wasn't it?
The preliminary hearing?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that was something that really stood out in your mind?
Objection leading.
Is that something that stood out in your mind?
I mean, it was the first, with my involvement in the case, it was the first sort of major milestone, I would say.
Okay. At any point, did you hear of an offer of a misdemeanor for her testimony?
Not that I'm aware of. Or not that I remember, I guess would be the more appropriate answer.
And I was just going to follow up. There may have been, but you don't know.
Yeah, I just don't know.
Okay. Now, were you involved in any way in your capacity, either directing or performing review of jail calls?
I listen to them regularly, yes.
Okay, and you were listening to them.
Objection leading.
Were you listening to them when Juliana had been arrested and was in jail and Brendan was out?
It's like a year.
I don't recall when I started, but I believe it was before. I at least listened to some. I listened to more after.
Okay, but you were the command staff person. Was there someone assigned to listen to calls all the time?
Yes.
And what was the reasoning for that?
Well, part of it was that with Juliana, she spoke in Portuguese, so we had a Portuguese-speaking police officer that listened.
Okay, was that who was assigned?
Yes.
Okay, and what was the goal of listening to her jail calls?
To gather evidence.
Okay, and was there ever any discussion amongst your group about the pressure that was applied to her relating to her being incarcerated?
Yes.
Okay. And was that something that was favorable for what your goals were?
That she had pressure because she was incarcerated?
Yes.
I mean, potentially.
Okay. Were there, in listening to all those calls and having them translated, when you listened to the ones in English, were you concerned about her mental health?
There were times where the officer who was listening had concerns, and we relayed those to the sheriff's department.
Okay. Were there times that you were concerned about her talking about the meetings that she had been with the police and the Commonwealth's office?
I don't recall any concerns about that, no.
Okay, so you didn't hear any calls where she was telling somebody what's going on?
Objection leading.
Sustained.
Did you hear any calls like that?
Like what?
Recounting what the
Same
offers
objection.
were, or talking about the case after talking to the police?
Not that I recall specifically.
Okay. And so how often did you find yourself as a supervisor listening to those calls?
If I had free time, I tried to listen.
Was the Portuguese officer that was monitoring them, was it just on the Portuguese calls?
I think he checked all the calls and he summarized them. So from time to time, he would, send a note if he thought something might be worthy of the detective or somebody on the task force giving it a listen to see what context it had.
And what kind of things were said?
I couldn't specifically tell you. I would have to go through emails.
So it would be something that would be beneficial to the case.
Objection leading.
Would it be something that would be beneficial to your case?
Yeah. I mean, anything that he thought was unusual or stood out to him, he would pass on. He wasn't directly involved in any investigation, and hadn't reviewed the whole investigation. So sometimes he didn't really know what something might mean. He would forward it on.
In assigning him, did you or anyone give him parameters on what you're interested in?
He was assigned before I got there.
Okay. Did you ever educate him when you got in there, what you wanted?
No, I don't think there was, like I said, he was there and had been doing that for some time before I arrived.
Now, when you arrived, what were you told to do when you arrived?
My job was to be the homicide supervisor. Also, I was asked to review this case and other open cases.
And were you told to close this case?
Well, of course, that's the goal for any open case.
Specifically this case?
Yes.
Okay. Were you told to clean house in homicide?
If necessary.
Did you ever say, or what, if anything, did you say about cleaning house of the existing homicide detectives?
I think I told all of them when I first got there that was not my goal. I hope to keep everybody who was there.
Okay. And did people leave?
Yes.
Okay. And how many people left the homicide squad?
During my time there, 5 were promoted to sergeant. I think they're all back in the Major Crimes Bureau now. And 1 was transferred out.
Okay. And who was that 1?
That was Detective Bryant. Or I'm sorry, 2. The Detective Bryant and Detective Hanging were transferred out.
Okay. Now, did you have any control over Detective Miller being transferred?
No.
Were you aware of Deputy Chief Bruce at the time saying that he was no longer working on any Major Crime Bureau cases?
Yes.
And were you aware of any...
I'm sorry.
Okay. Were you aware of any proceedings for transfer for Detective Miller?
No.
Okay, so you had no say in that?
No.
Okay. Or were your discussions with Deputy Chief Bruce informing him as to his decision to transfer?
I mean, we discussed it, but that wouldn't be, it's not even our bureau at that point, so I would have no real input.
Okay. Now, Detective Bryant, he was transferred.
He was.
And that was, I guess, was the decision around the time of October 25th? Which is,
I think he was transferred in January.
Okay, but the decision, when was that made?
Shortly, I mean, probably in January, maybe late December.
Was the reason for his transfer the October 25th?
Objection leading.
What, if anything, did the October 25th recant and the time leading up to it, what, if anything, did that do to hasten his transfer?
I think once Juliana came in proffered and provided more context to the evidence, everybody agreed that the evidence was overwhelming and that they had missed the mark, and he was the lead. So that's what ultimately was what caused him to be transferred.
So he was transferred because he didn't get it done. You needed Juliana.
Objection leading.
Sustained deleting.
So am I to understand it was because of
Judge,
Juliana?
that's still leading.
Yes.
But I don't know what the question is, but okay.
Were there any other factors that were considered other than what you just testified to as to Detective Bryan's transfer?
When he became aware of the proffer, it was 5 days before he passed that information up the chain of command. So that also played in.
Okay. And his leaving, was that, how was that characterized?
It was a transfer.
Okay. Was it related to discipline because he didn't notify command staff?
No, it was a lateral transfer.
Was that the circumstance of performance management that was talked about last summer?
Yeah, I would say that's the term used.
What is performance management?
Well, if somebody isn't performing at a level that you would expect for the position they're in, you might move them to another unit to gain further experience. And that's what happened in this case.
And he's now in digital forensics. Is that correct?
That's my understanding.
Was that where he was transferred from homicide to digital forensics?
No, he went to sex crimes, also in the Major Crimes Bureau.
Okay, so sex crimes and then now digital forensics?
That's my understanding. I don't have any knowledge of that transfer.
Okay, I
wasn't involved in it. No.
Anything like that. Now, he was the lead detective on this case from the beginning, correct?
Yes.
From that day on February 24th.
That's my understanding, yes.
And Brendan Miller was the lead digital forensics person from the beginning of the case, correct?
Yes.
And he was the only one that worked on extracting the 60 devices and things like that. Is that right?
I believe so. There's two Brendan Millers. I think they may have helped each other out at points, but so I'm not 100% on that. But I believe the Brendan Miller you're speaking of was the lead.
Is that the one that is sitting in the court right now?
Yes.
Okay. And so that we're talking about the same person.
Yes.
And he was also transferred during that time, correct? Within a month, couple months.
I don't recall the exact time he was transferred.
Okay, but it was soon after the proffer and
yes,
and the back and forth in terms of the emails with Sergeant Ames.
Correct. It was right around that time. So
okay.
If you put that exhibit up, I can give you a better ballpark.
If I said November 7th, November 8th, would you believe me?
If you're representing that that's what it says, then I will accept that.
Yes.
That sounds about right.
And so now I know you weren't in homicide for long, right?
About 11 months.
11 months. And that was before you were transferred.
Correct.
And prior to that, were you ever in homicide as an investigator?
I was not in homicide, but I've been an investigator for most of my career.
Okay.
Or supervised investigations.
And your career as an investigator was in narcotics, correct?
Primarily. Before I came to the police department, I did fraud investigations as well.
Okay. With another police department?
With a private insurance company or insurance agency.
Oh, okay. But in terms of your experience, police experience, you hadn't had any homicide experience up until you got there on March 2024.
Only peripherally. A lot of homicides relate to narcotics, so from time to time we would be involved in that aspect.
But you're never the lead detective or anything like that?
No.
Now, in your experience, does it seem odd that the chief detective.
Objection leading.
I don't know what the question is, so if you want to continue your question, I can't rule on
Does
it
it
yet.
seem odd that the chief detective of this homicide case and the chief digital forensic examiner were transferred around the same time?
No.
Have you ever seen a case where the lead investigator is transferred and another lead investigator is transferred prior to it coming to court?
The lead investigator transferred? Yeah, I mean, that happens all the time, I think.
In homicide?
In any case, I think there's plenty of homicide cases where they've come to trial and the homicide detective has moved on through promotion or to another unit prior to the trial. That's pretty normal.
Well, there's a distinction in the way you said that. I'm talking.
Objection, counsel's testifying.
Let me ask you a different question. If the case is getting to the point where it hasn't gone to trial and a homicide detective is moving, that's different than what you just testified to, right?
Objection leading.
No, overruled on that.
I think that's exactly what I just testified to. Sometimes there's an arrest, there's a transfer, and then there's a trial.
Okay. I think, I don't want to quibble with you about it, but I think you had said once the case has gone to trial, then the person transferred.
No, if that's what came out, that's not what I intended.
Perhaps I misunderstood.
Yeah, I think it's relatively normal for a homicide detective to leave the unit, whether it be for transfer or promotion, and then still see the case through to trial.
Okay. And when you were transferred, did you have any additional duties with regard to this case?
No.
Beyond what you had as a watch commander?
Not really. I mean, I provided what I had and moved on to my new assignment.
You gave your one drive and then moved on?
For the most part. Obviously, I've been here to testify a couple times here with you.
So other than being subpoenaed, you're...
No, I didn't have any more investigative responsibility with the case.
Are you aware of whether or not Deputy Chief Bruce, then Deputy Chief Bruce, now Mr. Bruce, has played any role in this investigation since he was transferred to the Administrative Support Bureau up until he left the...
I'm not aware.
Okay. Are you aware of any duties that Kyle Bryant, who was the chief homicide detective, what duties he's had since he was transferred?
My understanding is he remains the lead. He remained the lead when I left, to put it that way.
Okay, so he was actually still involved in certain things, is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Was that while you were still there, or did that happen after you left?
Well, he was transferred when I was still there, but my understanding is he's remained the lead, and if that changed, that would be news to me.
Was that in talking to him?
In talk about...
Is that how you learned that? You spoke to...
Well, I was still the supervisor, and I think I told him that he will remain the lead.
Okay. And he carried out his duties as he was supposed to, as far as you know?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Okay. And then with regard to Brendan Miller, do you know whether or not he had any responsibilities or obligations with this case?
I don't know.
After he was transferred?
That I don't know. I would assume so since he was the lead, but I don't know the answer.
Okay. And in any of the communications about transfer, you weren't privy to that?
So right when he was transferred, there was a couple weeks where we talked about reviewing and he was going through the evidence. Beyond that, I don't know.
Okay. You didn't keep track of it?
No.
There probably wasn't any reason to keep track of it, right?
Right. I moved to a new command.
Okay. Here, I'm sorry. 102 has been moved into evidence?
102 is in evidence.
Okay. Now, were you when you were speaking to the victim's family, you indicate that you're on a call with Joseph Ryan's family?
Judge, can we identify the exhibit?
Which exhibit?
I don't know what we're looking at.
102.
Still 102, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's written on the bottom right corner.
I can't do that.
So were you the main contact for the Ryan family and the Banfield family?
No.
Okay. What was the phone call about?
I think that was filling them in. Well, I don't know. It may have been to fill them in that the proffer was coming, but I don't recall. Looks like it was right before, so I would imagine, but it wasn't a phone call that I set up or led.
Okay. Would that be under your umbrella, I guess, or would that be victim services?
I think that was in concert with victim services.
Okay. And so in concert, meaning you were on the phone with someone from victim services?
Yes, I wouldn't have made that call without victim services, but to the best of my recollection, I believe I was just a silent observer in that call.
Who else was on there?
I don't know. I believe that, I don't want to misspeak, I'm not sure.
Okay. I mean, how many times did you talk to the victim's family with someone from victim services?
At each of the hearings, I mean, if they were in town, we always tried to be in the room, or if there was an update, we would update them.
Well, I understand that, but I mean, was this a phone call?
I believe it's a phone call.
Okay. And so would you oftentimes call the Ryan family or the Banfield family part of your?
Primarily, it would be in-person meetings when they were in town.
Okay. And this call would stand out as not being the usual contact.
I don't remember specifically the call. Based on the date, I would imagine that it was to notify them of the proffer.
Sir, can you see what's on your screen?
Yes.
And have you reviewed that?
What number is that?
Sorry, Defense Exhibit 103.
103, thank you.
Yes.
Do you know when that text occurred?
I believe that was during the proffer.
Okay, so you were in the adjacent room?
Correct.
And you were, well, you tell me, who are you texting with?
Deputy Chief Bruce.
Okay, and you're gonna move that in as
All right, any objection to 103?
No, ma'am.
Defense Exhibit 103?
Publish.
So let's go through this. It's tough to see what's under the banner there. Do you know what you wrote?
I think it says no real response yet. I did let Klingon know.
Okay, and you said this is while it's going on?
Correct.
So were you communicating via text with Klingon at the same time you were communicating with Patrick Bruce?
So we had a group thread for questions, and then I was communicating with Deputy Chief Bruce as well.
Okay. Who was on the group thread that you're talking about?
I believe it was Mr. Klingon, Detective Goodell, Detective Bryant, and Miss Sprisler.
Was Detective Miller on there?
No.
Was there anybody on there that had expertise in digital forensics when those
No.
questions were being asked? Was he still in his position at the time this took place?
Yes.
And was there any reason why he would have been excluded as the expert?
So for the investigative and interview stuff like that, it would be the homicide unit, and then we shared that video later with him.
Okay, but was there any benefit to having his perspective, like it would any other agent, any other part of the agency that did some investigation?
I mean, I think there's a number of people you can have that are present. So we made it the task force and provided that recording to everybody else afterwards.
Okay, but there would have been room because there was an ante room that you were in.
Sure, there would have been room.
Okay, and so who made the decision to exclude Detective Miller?
Mr. Klingon determined who was going to be there.
Okay, that's different from my question. You just answered my question by saying he determined who was going to be there. Was there anybody who excluded Detective Miller?
Mr. Klingon, I guess. I mean, he determined who was going to be invited.
And okay,
so I imagine the converse would be true.
So because he wasn't there, it had to have been Eric Klingon.
Objection, counsel's testifying, and I think that would be a mischaracterization of the defendant's, or I'm sorry, the witness's statement.
Sustain the objection. Next question.
I don't want to mischaracterize. Tell me what you were just saying about who was invited and who wasn't.
Mr. Klingon, I believe in concert with Ms. Sprisler from the prosecution team, determined who and where this would occur and who would be invited.
Okay.
Or excluded.
Now, it looks like there's additional back and forth chat. What's that about?
It's about the, has been characterized, the catfish theory.
And does that highlight the dispute as to who believed in it and who didn't?
I think that's fair, yeah.
And is that why you said you were looking for an apology?
Yes, I think we had back and forth. I advocated strongly that I didn't believe that Christine had set up or sent any of those messages. That wasn't the theory that went forward until Juliana came in and told the truth.
So this is a celebration of you being right.
I don't know if I would call it a celebration, but it's a realization. Confirmation.
And then it looks as though everybody's telling everybody how great they were. Is that?
Objection leading.
Sustained leading.
What's the rest of it about?
I think it's just acknowledging that we had gotten it right, and that now everybody was on the same page, and that nobody believed that we were not right.
Okay. And so you arrived at the determination that you were right because Juliana Perez Magalhaes told the story.
Yeah, I think she filled in the blanks, but by and large, what she said was consistent with what I believe the evidence showed pretty much within my first 30 days of being involved in the case.
Okay, so were you aware that it was 2 weeks before trial when this proffer occurred?
Yes.
Okay. And was it your position that you needed her to testify against Brendan in this case?
I thought it would be helpful, but I don't think it was necessary based on the evidence.
And your opposition to Detective Miller's executive summary was based on her testimony, correct?
No, I opposed it from pretty early on, but I think it was confirmation. It gave context to a lot of things that were in there.
Okay. And it was at that point that you worked through his chain of command, Sergeant Ames, to get him to change the executive summary, correct?
I never asked him to change anything. I asked him to review it, be able to explain why he arrived at the conclusions that he had, and to be able to explain why he doesn't believe that to be the case anymore. And my understanding is that's what he did.
Not with you?
Not with me, no.
Okay. Did you ever go and ask him what his original position was?
I think it's well documented in his summaries. I mean, we discussed it.
That was an inartful question. Did you ever ask him to go through like a math problem and show your work as to how he arrived at those conclusions?
Yeah, we looked at it time and time again.
Okay. But I mean, I'm talking about a comprehensive explanation based on his expertise that arrives at his. Did you ever do that?
Judge, I'm going to object, asked and answered, not just now, but earlier prior to the break.
Sustained. Next question.
When you say you talked about it from time to time, is that a comprehensive review of his work?
I mean, we spent a lot of hours in his lab, yes.
Okay, and were you questioning him?
I mean, we discussed all the things. There was something in the digital side that I didn't understand. I would ask him to explain to me what he felt that it meant.
Okay, so at least one aspect of whatever you didn't understand, you would ask for his explanations. I guess what I'm asking is, did there ever come a time when you had him explain his entire report?
Probably not all at once. Obviously, it was, there was extensive evidence, but we went through a significant chunk of it in his lab, yes.
Now, just specifically with regard to the executive summary, when did you recall, when did he complete it and when did you see it?
He completed it prior to my arrival, so I saw it, sometime probably in that first 30 days in March of 24.
Okay, and at any point did you agree with it?
I think in the first bit, I just took it all in. I tried to take in all the evidence. I spoke with a number of detectives and sort of got their impressions, and then I reviewed it, and then I had questions about the analysis. I think part of the issue is it was not the data that I had issue with, it was the interpretation.
Okay. You mean the statements surrounding the data? The findings?
For instance, he attributes things to people rather than devices.
Okay. And is that something in your digital forensic experience that's not best practices?
I think it's difficult to say who's holding a device if you don't have a lot of context.
I think that's, I mean, isn't that why digital forensics is what it is?
Well, they extract data and look and tell you what's going on. And I think probably some of his analysis went outside the bounds of what he would normally do.
And did you ever directly address him about that statement you just made?
Yeah, we discussed it, and I think he agrees.
You think he agrees?
That it was beyond what he normally does, yes.
Okay.
Starting to get painful here.
Were you aware of the peer review of his executive summary and files?
So there was stuff sent down to University of Alabama, I believe. My understanding was that they were trying to do a deeper dive into certain devices and see if they could pull more information than perhaps Fairfax County has the ability to pull.
Were they able to do that?
U of A has stuff?
You know?
I don't think they really got much further than he did.
Were you aware that they concurred in his findings?
My understanding is that they concurred that he extracted things properly and that the data was correct.
Did that peer review change anything in terms of your position as to the executive summary?
I'm sorry, I lost you. Can you speak into the microphone? It's hard to hear up here. I'm sorry.
Did the peer review change your thought process as to the executive summary that he had created?
I think it gave me confidence in the data, but it didn't affect the analysis part of it.
Okay. And so perhaps I've asked you this. What was your experience in the analysis of digital forensics?
Well, I'm not, you're looking at what the data is. I've been an investigator for almost 2 decades. So I've looked at lots of data and developed theories or trends, stuff like that.
But can't anyone do that?
Objection, argumentative.
Can't the trained monkey do your job, sir? Yeah, that's a little
Would that be difficult for anyone else to do?
I don't think so. I mean, I've spent a lot of time in investigations and putting things together, and you look at, patterns of life and how people act and how humans behave. And this is just more data points to look into.
Now, and that's what, is that what differentiates experts to investigators?
Well, I think the expert...
Objection, relevance, I'm not sure where we're going with this. He's not an expert. He's testifying as his recollection of the events.
Well, I think the discussion is about Brendan Miller's work.
I'm going to sustain the objection. Next question.
Maybe we're at the end. Are we done? No further questions?
Sir, I'm going to ask you to look at defense number 104. Is that yours?
Yes.
And that's with Deputy Chief Bruce?
Yes.
You're going to move that in as Defense Exhibit 104?
Any objection?
No objection. We also would not object to 105 as it appears to be page 3 of this same conversation.
Okay, 104 and 105 in evidence.
And sir, you're in the blue, correct?
Yes.
And so your first statement there, what does that mean?
Which
the first statement in blue.
I'm sorry, without the microphone, it's very difficult to hear you and understand.
Elaine.
The first statement in blue?
B guided her through B was Brendan.
Oh, so you're recounting her story?
Correct. This is during the proffer.
And is this in the ancillary or?
Correct.
The ante room of?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. And this is Detective Bruce's statement?
90% of people we work for.
That's Deputy
absolute
Chief Bruce
morons.
speaking, yes.
Work with.
Deputy Chief Bruce, sorry.
They bought it hook, line, and sinker. She gave it to him.
And did you have any, in your text group, did you have any say in any of the questions that were being asked?
Yeah, so we, in the text group, if there was something we wanted to explore, we would put a question in there, and then Mr. Klingon would either ask the question or not, depending on, his expertise, I guess, as a prosecutor.
Okay. Sir, it looks as though 105 has been admitted to evidence.
Yes, that's correct.
Do you recognize that?
Yes.
Okay, and is this part of the chain of text messages back and forth?
Right, it's a continuation of the previous exhibit.
And the discussions in, I guess, the gray is then Deputy Chief Bruce, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then you're in the blue responses?
Yes.
And so these are what you guys are in this, well, tell me what you're talking about there.
So we're recounting some of the stuff that's coming on from the proffer and talking about some of the days leading up to the proffer. And then sort of the response of people who became aware of it.
And the discussions about specific situations, those were your theories going in, correct?
Well, confirming the account that Brennan and Juliana created the account is, yes, part of our theory. And then the revenge rape or was she dead was a question as part of that theory as well.
And it looks as though Klingon is a prosecutor, correct?
Yes.
And there was comments about him?
Yes.
And what about Kyle and Tommy? Who were they?
That's Detective Bryant and Detective Goodell.
Okay, and those were the two head detectives at the time?
Correct.
And is that just banter between the two of you?
Yeah, it's a text thread between the two of us.
What would make this look bad is if Juliana was told by the detectives, this is what we think happened before she recanted.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to look at defense number 108. Is that your communication?
Yes.
And who are you communicating with?
Deputy Chief Bruce.
You're going to move that in as Defense Exhibit 108?
Any objection?
No.
108 in evidence and published.
So it looks like, well, tell me what you're saying here.
Which part?
This part.
I think you just pointed at Deputy Chief Bruce's comment.
Okay, were you part of that?
Yes, I think what it's referring to is where I say this is good. She confirmed that he would send her home a little early from the gym so she could post when he was not in the house, which was confirmation of some of the digital forensics where you could see that Juliana's device and Brennan's device were at the Lifetime Fitness in Reston, and then Juliana would leave, and as her device would leave, as she arrived at the Stablebrook address.
I don't think this is responsive to my question.
Or you want to ask your question again?
Yes. This area up here, does that indicate that you are still in the room?
Yes.
Okay, so this is while this is going on?
Mm-hmm.
And the things that you're reporting to Deputy Chief Bruce at the time, are those some of the questions that you were sending in, or some of the things that you were trying to get the au pair to say?
I wasn't trying to get her to say anything. We were trying to ask questions to get to the truth.
Okay, and were you asking questions regarding that particular incident you just started wanting to talk about?
So that's something I think that came up. Juliana put that out there without being prompted. But like I said, we confirm it with the digital evidence, and it was, corroborating what she was saying.
Now, when she confirmed that she created the account, did she tell you what the email address was?
I don't recall.
Did she tell you what the password was?
I don't think so, but I also don't think she specifically said that she created the account. I think that she said Brendan created the account.
Okay. Did she say that she was there when Brendan
Objection. Calling for hearsay.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
Got a little poll up.
Was there anyone
His way in
the text group asking her or suggesting questions to Mr. Klingon regarding the account platform?
I don't recall.
Was there anybody suggesting questions in what you saw regarding the passwords?
I don't recall. I do remember that Mr. Klingon had a list of, I think, over 100 questions that he hoped to get to. So a lot of that was covered in there.
Do you know what the origin of those questions were?
I think his review of the case. I don't know, though.
Okay. What, if anything, did you know about any meetings that Juliana Perez Magalhaes and her attorney had with Mr. Klingon prior to that?
I'm not aware of any, but if it happened outside of my knowledge, I couldn't tell you.
Okay, so it was your impression that she walked in there and...
Objection. Counsel's testifying, leading.
What was your impression of the interview?
She appeared truthful, and we were able to corroborate a lot of what she said.
Oh, okay, and is that the measure of the truthfulness for you?
I think when you see interviews and conduct interviews over a course of a career, you start to kind of get a feel if somebody's being truthful or not. And one of the ways we do that is corroborate through other evidence.
Okay. Now, with regard to your digital forensics that you did, and forgive me if I've asked you this, but it's something that I want to make sure we cover. Did you ever extract anything from any of the phones or devices, or I think there were 60 of them?
No.
Okay. And I think you'd said that you don't have any problems with the data that was generated from those.
No, as far as I can tell, the data appears to be extracted, in compliance with the industry standards. And as you said, University of Alabama confirmed that. Okay. So what did you do to determine what the industry standards were and what he did? I just took what the Detective Miller represented to me and the University of Alabama report.
Okay. So he says this was industry standards and you accepted it?
Yes.
Okay. So there wasn't any real, to inform your conclusions, there wasn't any real investigation.
Objection, leading.
Was there any investigation relating to digital forensics that informed the conclusions that you were working from?
84%.
I mean, I reviewed the data. I don't think I did any quote unquote digital forensic work. He provides data. In this case, he provided some other reports and summaries, but the data is the data. You can look at it and sort of figure out what it means. And if there was something I didn't understand, I would ask him for help. But it was the analysis, I think, of that data that I thought was problematic.
Okay.
84% of us think this is not helping the defense. If anything, it might be hurting them.
Court's indulgence.
All right, yes, sir.
Court's indulgence. Please wrap it up. This is not working. Brendan's still invested. He has a distinct interest in the outcome of this trial, but he looks like he's on board in the questioning, providing a little update or reminder of what he wants to ask about. If your attorney got up and kept asking leading questions on direct, would you feel like it was a good thing or a bad thing? Do you have a picture there? What are we looking at, sir?
Sir, this is Defense Exhibit 104. I think you've previously looked at it. Mm-hmm. This particular statement right here on the October 25th, that was when you were still in the anteroom where the recant was happening, correct?
Correct.
And that's a statement that you wrote. Is that what was said?
I mean, that's my understanding of what was said. I don't recall the specific wording.
Okay, but you were in the moment and you said that.
Yes, that would be what I understood it to mean.
Okay. Now, did you, I know it was a goal, or I won't say it that way. One of the things, what if any, I'm sorry, Judge, strike that.
That's right.
I want to
strike the what if any. Good idea. The catch-all phrase has been stricken.
Was there anything that occurred in the recant when you were in the anteroom that challenged any of the questions that she was asked, or any of the answers that she gave?
I'm not sure what you're trying to ask me. I'm sorry.
Was she challenged on any points in this recant?
You mean did Mr. Klingon ask her clarifying questions? Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Do you remember any of those?
Not offhand, no.
Did so the people that were in the room, and I can name Detective Bryant,
Detective Goodell, Miss Sprisler, Mr. Klingon, I think Mr. Campbell and his co-counsel may have been in there as well, and Juliana.
Okay, and that was it?
I believe so.
Did anyone else other than Mr. Klingon ask questions of Juliana Perez Magalhaes?
I don't think so.
Did anybody, if you had a vantage point to see this, did anybody interrupt him to try to get a point across before he asked a question?
I didn't have the ability to monitor the room. I could only video monitor. I could see it on the phone, or got me crossed up there. It was just an open phone line, so I couldn't see anything until afterwards.
So there was no video feed?
No, I couldn't see into the room.
Did you hear anyone challenging like a detective would to what she was saying?
Objection leading.
Sustained as leading.
What if anything did any of the detectives or the prosecutor do relating to issues that came up in the questioning?
I don't remember specifically. I think the plan was for Mr. Klingon to do all the talking from the prosecution side. I don't know that any detectives actually spoke during that proffer. And there were definitely times when he asked clarifying questions, but as to specifics, I'd have to watch the video. It's been quite some time.
Okay. And I guess that brings up another point. Is it unusual in your investigations to have the prosecutor question the cooperating co-defendant versus a detective?
To me, it was a little unusual in a state case. In a federal case, that was standard.
Seems like they're turning the mic on in the jury box.
Objection, counsel's testifying.
There's a little more.
He's still
The
testifying.
objection. Next question.
He's still doing it, Judge. He's not stopping.
And did you know whether those people in the room could say something, or were they told not to say something?
How would you know that?
My recollection is that Mr. Klingon the plan was for Mr. Klingon to do all the talking. I don't recall there was a, specific statement that nobody else should talk, but that was the plan going in.
Were you involved in any sort of a breakout session between the groups, between the recants?
I'm not sure what you're asking me.
Well, there's, and I think it was on your email, there were two proffers. And so there was a break between 1 and 2. Do you recall that?
Yeah, I wasn't present for the second one. I had been transferred by then.
Well, no, sorry. There were 2 separate recorded proffers on October 25th. Were you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay. And then I think on February 7th, there was another proffer. That's probably what you're thinking of.
Yeah, so in the first proffer, between the 2 sessions, we had food. We had taken Juliana out of the jail prior to her receiving a meal, so we provided her some pizza.
Okay. And then were you there for the second portion?
Yeah, I was in the room next door listening.
And
same through the whole time. There was just a break in between.
Okay,
Confessional
so
pizza is the best
break
pizza
occurred
ever.
where everybody could join together?
Yes.
Okay, and in that, was there any sort of a discussion amongst the potential questioners that were in the room?
Not that I recall. We kind of scarfed down some food and got back in there because it was starting to get late.
And so it sounds to me like, so Eric Klingon basically controlled the whole process.
Yes.
Was he willing to take input from you?
Yes.
He did? Did he take input?
Yes. Like I said, we had a text group where we,
Shows our pizza style.
provided questions and, and I kind of remember in some cases we would send a question, but by the time, he kind of finished the thought, he already got to that question. And then there were some times where he asked the question. I don't remember the specifics. I just kind of remember that flow.
Was it ever suggested that she take some sort of a lie detector or anything like that before she would be offered that plea?
Judge, objection. It's not relevant.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
Was there any discussion as to how to confirm her veracity by whatever means?
Yeah. So like I said before, we tried to corroborate a lot of what she said through evidence, whether it be digital or documentary. Like, for instance, the windows, we were able to, that was something we had no idea about. And then once the proffer had been completed, we were able to kind of run that down and confirm it.
This is hurting the defense.
Did you ever say to any of the investigators that they arrested an innocent woman talking about Juliana?
No.
That was never said by you to anyone?
About me?
By you to anyone?
No. I think what you're probably referring to is I expressed concerns about the articulation of how, the reasons they charged. But I think the charge was solid.
And who was that with that you expressed those concerns?
Detective Bryant.
Okay. I don't have any further questions.
All right, cross-examination.
Watch how fast the state can take care of this. 5-10 questions and we're out the door. That's what I think. Or none.
Good afternoon.
How you doing?
Okay, so let's talk about this case and how the Fairfax County Police Department Homicide Division got involved. Do you all have a rotation for call-outs when there is a crime committed?
Yeah, so there's what we call a homicide list. And there's, generally about 12 detectives on the squad, give or take, and there's an order, and it kind of rotates through that list so that nobody's overwhelmed with work at any one time.
Okay, so when the call came out for the murder at the Banfield's home, was Detective Bryant essentially on call?
I believe he was up for murder. Again, that was prior to my time there.
Okay. And so his assignment, you indicated that it's not uncommon for cases to be handled by multiple detectives over the course of the case's life. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And in this situation, this case has been pending for 1 month shy of 3 years. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So there's nothing really out of the ordinary about multiple detectives having been involved in this case.
Not at all.
Okay. Likewise, this was a really big case for Fairfax County homicide, correct?
It created a lot of attention, media attention, so there was a lot of eyes on it.
And there was a huge volume of evidence to go through, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And as such, your leadership was very involved in this matter, making sure that they were up to date on how the case was progressing, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So was there anything, again, intended to be hidden from the Commonwealth by making sure your leadership was aware of developments in the case as they arose?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Turning to Ms. Perez-Magalhaes' proffer, you all were working as a team in developing the questions for Ms. Perez-Magalhaes, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and it was simply determined that Mr. Klingon would be the mouthpiece in the room, nothing more, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Ms. Frissler was present as she sits here at the table today. This is Ms. Frissler, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and Ms. Perez-Magalhaes' attorney was present, correct?
Correct.
Detectives Goodell and Bryant were present.
Correct.
All right, and you were all smushed in a room, is that accurate?
Well, they
good
were
for you.
smushed. I was comfortable in Miss Bristler's office.
Okay. Was there room for anyone else in that particular room at the time?
It's a small room, as you know.
Okay, thank you.
Josh.
Her proffer was 2 weeks before her trial, is that correct, Ms.
Yes.
Perez-Magalhaes?
Thank you.
And that was more than a month after Mr. Banfield had been charged, correct?
Correct. He was charged September 16th. I believe the proffer was October 25th, about 6 weeks.
So the proffer was not the determining factor in whether or not to charge Brendan Banfield with the murder of his wife and of Joe Ryan, correct?
Correct.
What was it about Ms. Perez-Magalhaes' proffer that you believed made her to appear?
We were able to corroborate through digital evidence that she left the gym. She basically said that
I'm sorry, can you put your microphone on? What's your objection?
Objection to, it's outside the scope of what I've asked. It's an open-ended question as to the investigation, and
It's harmful to my case.
I'll overrule objection. All right, continue.
Please continue.
So she essentially kind of confirmed the sequence of events that I believed occurred. Part of the way we did that was looking at the digital evidence. There were things along the way, for instance, going to the gun range, we were able to see pictures of that. She talked about leaving the gym, that Brendan told her to leave the gym early to go home so that he wouldn't be in the house while the FetLife or Telegram account were active. And we were able to see that on the geolocation of her device and Brendan's device. And then we could see her log or see a log on the Telegram shortly after that device arrived in the area. The windows was something we hadn't had any idea about once she...
When you said the windows, do you mean the replacement of the windows in the Banfield?
Right. So she said that there was a time where Brendan had the windows replaced with windows that were like soundproof, and he asked her to go stand in the driveway. Or actually, he asked her to stand in the bedroom and scream while he stood in the driveway to see if screams would be able to be heard. She said that she did not want to do that. And so he screamed and she went outside. We were then able to track down a receipt and some emails, I believe, about the windows, and ultimately find the company and speak with the salesman who spoke to Brendan. And there was just a lot of things that over the course of August until February, in the digital evidence that she was able to corroborate for us in that, or that we were able to corroborate her statement after.
All right, thank you. Just a final question from me. I'm sure council will have more. Did you
closing statement right
change,
there, closing argument,
distort, or hide any evidence in this case?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you direct anyone to change, distort, or hide any evidence in this case?
No, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. Nothing further, Judge.
All right, redirect.
What are you going to ask? The guy just summarized the state's
Lieutenant
case.
Giacchio, you were ordered by the court to turn over evidence that should have been turned over months before during the summer. Isn't that correct?
No, I gave everything that I had.
The text messages and the emails that you were seeing here were turned over in July when we had a discovery order in November. Isn't that true?
Yes, and that's something that we have never turned over in any other case that I'm aware of. So as soon as the court ordered it, we complied.
Okay, and when you say we, who are you talking about?
Fairfax County Police.
Okay, and so the issues relating to the conflict in the case were exculpatory evidence, wasn't that correct?
Objection calls for a legal conclusion.
Sustained. Next question.
Did that ever occur to you that that was something that should have been turned over?
Objection is to the form.
Sustained is to form.
Did the emails and the text messages that you have just witnessed, were they, did that ever occur to you that that was something that should have been turned over on the discovery order?
An objection, Judge. I think we're still on the legal conclusion. He indicated that it was turned over once he received a court order.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Who in your division is in charge of looking to see whether something's exculpatory?
Objection is to relevance.
How's it relevant?
I think the question, this is in response to her question that.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
In terms of the transfers of Brendan Miller, or actually, I think you were involved with the transfer of Kyle Bryant. What was your reasoning behind that?
Well, I gave input, and my input was that I thought he should stay.
And in fact, he was then removed?
Yes, he was ultimately transferred.
Okay. And what was the reason, the October 25th situation?
Objection calls for speculation.
If you know.
I think it was a combination of the withholding the proffer for 5 days and, and just being wrong about with the analysis in this case.
And you're talking about being wrong after the Juliana Perez Magalhaes proffered.
Well, I think that's when he realized it. I think after that, there was nobody on the police department that I'm aware of that doesn't believe the current theory of events.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, is this witness subject to recall?
No.
Oh, no?
No, ma'am, thank
Okay,
you.
you're free to go, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Defense
All right,
rests.
ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take our afternoon recess of 15 minutes. Don't do any outside research and not talk to anybody about the case. Thank you. And just a reminder, our next, we were going to 5:30, so keep that in mind on your break, okay?
My cow has a bubble. As long as the bubble stays on the inside, it's good. Been squeezing the stress cow so I don't reach through the screen and grab somebody's neck. Jury's out.
Come back at 3:50 then?
Yes, ma'am.
3:50, Mr. Carroll?
I'm sorry.
All right. Right this way, sir. There we go. All right. I wish I had something I could summarize for you and put together and lay out all the gains the defense has gotten on this, but the only gains that I can really count are the ones on the prosecution side. We've had, through this witness, the defense witness, who arguably, yes, he is, on the police force, we got the prosecution on cross-examination to give him an open-ended question to say, tell us everything that proves that Brendan was actually guilty and should be charged. And he got to just start at the top and list everything. And defense objected and was like, Judge, I don't think you open-ended. Yeah, this is just, yep. Objection overruled. He got to say it all. It was a closing statement type. It was a closing argument given in one witness answer presented as evidence to the jury. That's what it was. I was wishing we got more of that earlier in the trial on the state's case in chief. Show us some of that. Show us especially the data when it comes into the details from the technical analysis. And I realize they didn't call the guys they fired to show this, but the details on the devices. You look at 60 devices, you can put those pieces together. I'm sorry, I used to work with big data a little bit. Okay, I know that you can put together logs and extrapolate information out of something, out of ones and zeros. Based on that, you can see the patterns. You can see who's doing what, when, and why, and how, and who, how much, and how many. And we finally got a taste of that. I think we need much more than that in closing from the prosecution. I think they need to spell it out. They need to show in the reports, which I believe have been admitted, or in the evidence that's been admitted, the extractions of that, how it adds up, why it's important to the jury that Brendan's phone pinged here at this time when this website was accessed at this time. Put that all together. I heard just a tiny bit of that, and I just started salivating. I'm like, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. Yes, and I did have the Pavlov's response there. All right, he tried to pull that data from that one witness, but he didn't see the raw data, only the analysis. Yeah. What I took away from this witness is if you reported a sex-related crime, you're getting the bottom of the barrel investigating your case. Okay, Colberistic. It does sound like the red-headed stepchild investigative unit is a sex crime unit. That's where if you do bad things or if your bosses don't like you, that's where you end up getting transferred to. I don't know. Maybe somebody on police forces can convince me otherwise. There might be people out there who say, this is the area I want to go in. I want to make a difference in the world in this area, and I'm willing to wade into this muck to right the world of wrongs. There might be people out there, but it sounds like from this case that if your boss isn't happy with your work product, you might have a transition down the ladder into this less favorable unit. I think they didn't do that because there are times that do not jive. Well, that would be exculpatory if it doesn't match up. I mean, if you have Juliana's phone, who was the au pair, that she's gone and Brendan is gone, and they're like driving around either together or separate somewhere other than the house, and at that same time you've got an IP address at the house on, the wife's laptop accessing FetLife, boom, that's exculpatory. That's huge. They would be shouting that from the rooftops if that happened even one time, I think. They don't have that, I don't think. Is there any chance that he wasn't involved at all? I've tried to build the scenario in my head, AWOL, what it would look like. And the problem I have, what I can't get over, is you've got these 911 calls. That first call that was made, then hung up, then didn't answer when the 911 called back to say, hey, we just had a hang up from here. And then, what was it, 10, 20 minutes later, another 911 call is made, an emergency, help, now we have an emergency. How do you account for that with him being there? How do you account for that gap? Yeah, the windows, yeah, okay. You replace the windows. You don't like the noise, the music your neighbors play. There can be reasons for replacing all the windows in your house and spending $33,000 on special soundproof windows. I get that. But the 911 calls, how do you justify we accidentally called 911 10 minutes before there was an emergency and we had to shoot somebody in my house to defend my wife who died in the attack? Excuse me, what? What? Think he'll testify? I don't know. Somebody posted that 911 call and explaining that timing is the one reason he won't testify, because he can't do that. I don't know. Maybe he's got a story. My creative mind is not good enough to come up with a scenario where that all just makes sense, that it fits together. Can we see some pictures on the wall? Do we have any judges to look at? Anybody? I mean, I like the seal, but cameraman, if you can give us a judge or two. Oh, there we go. Thank you. We get a new judge every time. I keep looking for people that I recognize, and I don't. All right. Someone is a law enforcement agent. They don't turn over to a non-English nanny to a call. What are your thoughts on who was where and withholding the evidence, and don't tell the prosecutors this yet? Are they done today? No, but they might be almost done. Here's what I think. We are very, very close. I think defense is trying to stretch this out over the weekend, or at least over tonight. Okay, we've got all tomorrow. I don't think they can fill all tomorrow. But they're trying to get to the end of the day for one reason, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're floundering and they need to regroup and see if they can change anything. And currently, they're almost at the end of their list. And if the list runs out and you don't have anyone else to call, you've got to rest. The judge isn't going to let you just, Judge, can we go home early today? Unless you've got a good reason, she's going to be pretty upset that you didn't bring enough witnesses to fill your day. And I think they're trying to stretch it out to get to the end of the day so that they can have that time to regroup tonight, see if there's anybody else they need to call, a different angle they need to approach. Just, 12 hours to think over their defense and what's working and what isn't, anything we need to hit harder, anything we need to go deeper into, somebody we should call that we haven't, had on the stand yet, or call your client. I don't think they're making that choice. I can stretch it out by calling Brendan. Yeah. Chris Wallace gives 5 Recovery Addict memberships. Thank you very much for your generosity. Went to good people. Call the National Guard. Yeah, I think they're going to be called out in a lot of states here this weekend. I was talking, I texted Weather Watch. Just thinking we might actually talk about the storm a little bit. I know we try to talk about things that are not relevant on the podcast tonight, but with him being a weatherman and us having like a massive storm, and him being like taking it right on the chin, as my wife said earlier in chat, in Texas, we might talk about that a little bit tonight. So maybe you can get your own personalized weather report tonight. I'm not sure what his schedule looks like. I should probably wait till he responds before I tell you that. Is there any witnesses that they can recall, or they were all dismissed? They have a couple they can recall, but I don't know what you would gain or what new you would have right now, right? Everything that they've sort of laid out, all the documents they presented, aside from the 70 jail calls. We might go into that possibly. But aside from the jail calls, all those documents, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, up to 102, those text messages we've sort of seen, and they've been introduced. So unless they can get it from some other party who was a member of this text exchange and try to get a different answer from a different person asking the same questions, which they're struggling to do, I don't think they're going to continue on that line. All right. Right now is the defendant having a conversation on whether he's going to take the stand. I think that decision's been made. It might be revisited, but I think that decision was made probably very early on in this case. And I don't know what the answer is. Oh, wow. Kelsey, huge. A huge super chat says, thanks for covering this trial and for making me want to go through your past coverage and find more trials I want to look into. Enjoy the sidebars into 3D printing and e-bike dealerships. Sadly, the e-bike dealership is closed. I've got only one bit of inventory left from off the shelves, as we've pretty much cleared everything out, and that's some 29-inch Corgi Cycles bicycle tubes, replacement tubes. So we're pretty much sold out. Shut everything down. No more e-bike dealership. But Kelsey, thank you very much. There are some fun trials in the history. Maybe in chat, for those of you who have been with us a little bit long, for a long time, go ahead and post your favorite ones you must see. I would say some of the big ones for the channel would probably be Zachary Anderson. That's where the judge played our live stream in court over the live feed. That was interesting. We've also got the burn pile murder. That's where my face just like this in the corner, and obviously I think even with a seal on the screen, I don't remember, was admitted into evidence in court as the little man in the corner. Melody Ferris, that was a good one. I wish I still had all my Daryl Brooks stuff. I deleted some of that. It's wrongful. Rose Petal guy, that was an interesting case. The Rose Petal guy was the murderer who basically got up and told all. I just, like, from the mind of a murderer, this is why I did what I did. That was crazy. Anyway, there's some great ones up there. Zach the pianist admitted he did it. He took the stand and I was floored by not just by the honesty. It's weird to have like the defendant get up there and you're like, I believe this guy 100%. Especially when he's saying things you've just never heard anyone say before. Like describing the thought process as to why the murder went the way it did and why they made choices they did and the details of like the struggle, the fight, the moment. That was a wild ride. All right, Gwyneth Paltrow, oh my goodness, Gwyneth Paltrow case, civil trial out of Utah, we covered. That had some of the best witnesses. The ski pictures with the stick figures, that is hilarious stuff. That is good stuff. And the attorney who tries to be all relatable, I'm a country boy myself, born and raised in the city. there was just some funny stuff in that one. Don't think RA covered all of Mark Jensen. That was a tough one. We covered part of it, but I think we did bail on that one. There were just too many pictures. There were some, I guess we could call them logical fallacies in that one, that visual ones at that point. That was just too much. Everyone should go watch the Frog playlist or Ice Fishing Trial. Ice Fishing Trial probably has the spiciest body cam we've ever seen. It's just physics. Yes, Mrs. R.A., it's just physics. We didn't cover Shabusiness, did we? I don't think we covered Shabusiness. That's the head in the bucket one. I'm pretty sure, and other things. I'm pretty sure we didn't cover that one. All right, Apple River. A lot of people still upset about Apple River. A big division on that one. Apple River, the Tatiana, the police officer that was convicted of shooting Tatiana Jefferson, I think her name was. That one was that was a conflicted one at the end as well. Bugdugger, I forget his name, but the snot guy was gross way back in the day. The snot guy, I think you're talking about. No, is it this one?
Your son just smeared feces all over my bathroom.
Yeah, that soundbite was
ready
Mark
for the jury?
Jensen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay.
That was the snot running down his face one. Kelsey, welcome to the jury. Thank you very much for your support. Massive, massive support. Love that you're here. Excited to have you watch some of the previous trials that have happened, especially if you have an ice storm and everything shuts down for a couple days. That's going to be nuts. We'll have to go on the rewatch crew. Kelsey, thank you. Couldn't do it without support like yours. See who the state calls next, if anyone. This is about, I think the defense had said, or sorry, the defense is up. I said the state. I think they said they could fill most of today, possibly into next week, but that was before they decided to go tomorrow as well. So we're right about the end of their witness list.
All right, your next witness?
Sally Fayez.
Sally Fayez.
Sally Fayez. The judge corrects the pronunciation. One more police officer witness, which means this will probably be a little bit of a slog. I'm sort of hoping as we get further down through these people who participate in some of these conversations and text exchanges that we get somebody a little spicy that has a beef and they want to bring it. Because the questions just aren't exciting right now. I mean, I realize court's interesting, but
Do you swear to testify truthfully in this case under penalty of law? Thank you.
Sam's here.
Got it. Thank you. Hi. All right.
Good afternoon, Ms. Fayez.
Good afternoon.
I'm going to show you some text messages.
Judge, I would object. The witness has not yet been identified.
Could you just have her?
Sorry. Can you please say your name and spell it for the court reporter?
Sure. Sally Fayez, SALYFAYEZ.
And if I ask you any questions that don't come out right or you don't understand, just please tell me and I'll repeat the question.
Absolutely.
Now, you're the head of the victim services for Fairfax County. Is that
Correct. For the Fairfax County Police Department.
Okay. And in that role, do you fall within their command staff, I guess, MAP?
I do.
Okay. And so can you describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury of your organization and how it fits within the police department?
Sure. So we are a civilian unit within the police department. We fall under the Major Crimes Bureau. So there's 4 divisions in the Major Crimes Bureau. There's the Violent Crimes Division, the Criminal Investigation Division, the Cyber and Forensic Division, which are all sworn staff, and then the Victim Services Division, which is my division.
And so, and how many people do you have working for you?
17, plus we have interns, but 17 employed.
Okay. And when you, when something like what happened in this case happens, how do you get involved?
So my office is located on the 6th floor, which is where the rest of the violent crime detectives are. So it's not uncommon that something happens and I'm automatically made aware of it, which is what happened that day.
Okay. And so you get a call or you get a text or something like that, and then you roll to wherever you need to be?
No. So the day of the murders, I was already up at headquarters. And so I either received a phone call or a message, I'm not sure, letting me know that Valerie and and Juliana were headed to headquarters, and did I have an advocate to sit with them?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Did I have a victim advocate that could go sit with them?
Okay, and did you arrange for that?
Correct.
Okay. Now, at that point, is that victim advocate the victim advocate for them for the remainder of the case, or how does your organization work?
Yes, on homicides, the advocate that responds, usually we respond to a scene, but in this instance, we responded to headquarters, so they would keep the case. There's 2 different families, so I assigned one advocate to one family and another advocate later on to Joe Ryan's family.
Okay. And how long have you been doing that?
Doing
your job?
I've been with the department for 23 years, so I was an advocate for 7 years, and I've been the director for 16.
And so, in terms of your interaction with the police department, what's your interaction on a daily basis if you're not otherwise responding to things?
I'm in command meetings, I'm in supervisor meetings, there's daily dialogue about cases. I'm obviously making sure that my unit is squared away and going where they need to go. If there's a call out, we have a text thread of who's going to respond to a call out. It's really just the day-to-day of supervising the division.
And the command staff meetings you talked about, who's attending those?
The command staff meetings are all majors and above, majors, deputy chiefs, assistant chiefs, and I believe captains.
And are you on a level of a deputy chief or a major? Or?
I would be considered the professional equivalent of a major. Okay. So I answer to a deputy chief.
And who during this time frame would you answer to?
To Deputy Chief Bruce at the time.
Okay.
Well, at the time of the murder, it would have been Deputy Chief Reef, Jeff Reef.
Okay. And I think timing-wise, Deputy Chief Bruce came in just after this incident, or he was actually a captain?
He was the captain during the incident, yes.
So you had interaction with him when he was the deputy chief?
When he was the captain, yes.
Okay. And then when he was deputy chief, you answered to him?
Correct.
Okay. And so the command staff meetings, can you describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what those are without any specifics?
It's just to ensure that the command team of the Fairfax County Police Department know what is going on within each of the subdivisions. It's really just a conversation of what's happening within the department of all of the rank and file.
Okay. I'm going to show you some text messages and ask you if you can identify them.
Okay.
This is marked as Defense Exhibit 92.
Okay.
Do you have any recollection of that?
From looking at it, but no.
Okay, nothing on the page stands out for you?
No, I mean, I see that was from 2024, but otherwise, no.
Okay. Is it common to have jail call recordings in your communications with Deputy Chief Bruce, and who would be the other person? Was that Lieutenant Giasio?
I only see myself and Deputy Chief Bruce on here.
Okay. Would that be a common occurrence, the jail calls from a case?
Yes. I mean, it's not that it's every day, but if you're asking, is that okay that a text message included a jail call? Yes.
Oh, no, I mean, I'm sure it's okay. I just was curious if that's just something that would be naturally flowing from your position and his position.
Yes.
Okay. And is that something that are you ever involved in listening to jail calls, or just when it's sent to you in this kind of format?
I have in the past, yes.
Okay. And in this case, have you done any listening of jail calls?
No.
Other than this?
No.
Okay. And so, it appears there's a conversation going on. What's the nature of that conversation?
There's There's several conversations going on. Which one are you referring to?
Actually, let me just, if I can just pause for 1 second.
Can you stop yelling into the mic?
Defense exhibit number 92.
Any objection?
Judge, I think the witness testified that she doesn't recognize it.
Are you only a foundation?
In terms of your communications with Deputy Chief Bruce, would text messages be a common way that you would communicate?
Absolutely. I think that's the common way to communicate with most people.
And so other than personal communications, would text messages including jail calls or other discussions about perhaps defendants, would that be something that you would talk about?
Yes.
Okay. And in this case, is that what that looks like?
Without knowing what that call was, no.
Okay.
I wouldn't know.
What about the next statements regarding that?
Again, unfortunately, since it was 2024, there's not a lot of context of what this is for me to know.
And so you're based upon what you know right there, you're saying you're not certain that this was a communication that you had made?
Well, I obviously made it because my name is in there, but I really don't remember that specific text message.
And I think that's
But I'm not saying I
understandable.
did not do it.
That's certainly understandable with text messages. Your Honor, I'd move that in as Defense Exhibit 92.
Judge, I wouldn't object to its admission at this point, but obviously the witness's testimony would be limited by her
Well, I
recollection.
understand that, but as far as admissibility, 92 is an evidence. Not published?
Is that a handcuff on her necklace? You guys have been talking about this. Is that like a special handcuff? Little chain?
Down the page of this message, I'll point to this. What are you saying there? And does that indicate that somebody else is in that message?
Giacchio, Lieutenant Giacchio.
Okay. Does that help you remember any of this?
Yeah.
Would it be common for you, Deputy Chief Bruce and Lieutenant Giacchio, be on a three-way text?
Yes, I've been on text messages with deputy chiefs and supervisors in the past.
Okay. And these are the kind of things that you discuss when you're talking to those two?
Audio from jail call last week.
Well, if I'm reminding Lieutenant Giacchio to ask people to do something, yes.
Please move the mic.
And how about talking about things like arresting him will put him over?
Again, I'm sure we have in the past. I just don't know the context of this.
If we can get the lady bailiff to move the mic. She understands this, how the mic works. From jail call last week, arresting him will put him over. He sounds like a big baby. He's going to fold. One last favor, GI. Can you remind everyone to do the evaluation? Sounds like a big baby. He's going to fold.
Review what has been marked as Defense Exhibit number 94. Do you remember that?
I do.
Okay, and what's the significance of the date in remembering that?
Friday, October 25th.
Yes.
The arrest of Brendan Benford. Is that what you're asking me?
No, I don't think, well, let me just do this and then we can talk about it. Your Honor,
Sure.
I'd like to enter this as Defense Exhibit 94.
Any objection?
No, Judge.
94.
It appears it's a conversation with Deputy Chief Bruce, and it's relating to some message that the chief had written.
Yes.
And do you know what the significance of that is?
I believe after Juliana's proper.
Okay. And you knew that to be October 25th, correct?
I only see it at the top of the text message.
But did you know that to be October 25th?
Not that I would have recalled, no.
Okay. And in this text message, you're talking about Not taking no for an answer, correct?
Correct.
And what's that relating to?
It appears to say not taking no for an answer, so we're all grabbing a drink next week.
Okay, and do you know the context of that?
Probably just saying we're all going to grab a drink next week.
Okay, but not anything with regard to the case?
Nobody but the two of you truly know what this entailed. That's just getting drinks next week. A little congratulations going on there. I just found a great story for a podcast tonight. I'm so excited.
Marked as Defense Exhibit 98.
Broken Baker in here? Hey. Pure Charlie Brown.
Wah, wah,
wah, wah, wah.
I don't recognize the text message now.
Okay, are you involved in that text message?
By looking at it, I can't say yes or no.
Okay, you don't see, okay, I'll withdraw that.
Okay, say that more often. We'll fly through these.
Ma'am, I'm gonna have you look at what's been identified as Exhibit 99.
My question is,
do you recognize that?
No, I don't.
Are you not part of that?
It doesn't appear so I would know if I was.
And you don't have any independent memory of it?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'll withdraw that.
Why don't they include the identification of each party on these text messages? Like instead of just the initials, you can see who was in that text chain. Why don't they do that?
This is Defendant's Exhibit 106. Do you recognize that?
I do.
Okay. Is that a text that you were involved with?
Yes.
And just for the sake of identifying people, which color were you on that? Gray or blue?
Gray.
Okay. Your Honor, I move that in as Commonwealth's Exhibit 106.
Judge objected to that was not identified by whoever the other party is in the email.
That's correct. The other witness said they didn't recall, so I have to sustain the objection to 106.
Okay, so tell us who was in that one. Because she recalls. You can tell us who it was.
I'm going to ask you to review what has been marked as Defense Exhibit 107. Do you recall that text message? Or can you identify that text message?
Identify it as in?
As a message you sent or as a message you were part of?
My name is up top, so I would say that it was from me.
Okay, do you know who you were communicating with?
Not just by looking at it, no.
Your Honor, I'd move that in as Defense Exhibit 107.
Judge Reed to object.
The objection.
Again, it calls for hearsay. Ms. Baez is the person who was the recipient. She cannot identify who the communicator was.
And I believe the other witness said it wasn't him. So I have to sustain the objection to 107.
This courtroom is massive.
Now, ma'am, when you're in the command staff meetings, what kind of role do you have in those meetings?
My role really is to make sure that the victims and the survivors are a part of the conversation.
Okay. And so are you giving updates on things or how do you engage with the command staff, the police command staff?
I think it really just depends. Are you talking about in this instant or are you just talking about in general?
Generally.
I think it just depends on what the case is about. Sometimes if we have a case where a case went to court, then we would update the command staff on what happened with the verdict. If there's a case where we believe the family needed some awareness when there comes to a public affairs bureau release, we work directly with our public affairs bureau command staff to make sure that families are notified in a dignified way of that something's going to be released.
Now, specifically with regard to this case, were you ever involved in the theory of catfishing?
Yes.
Did you suggest catfishing?
I did not suggest catfishing. I suggested that it be proven that it's not catfishing.
And when in time was that in relation to the killing of Christine Banfield?
I think as time went on, it became apparent that was a possibility. And so are you asking when I started to think it, or?
Well, where did this theory come from? Were you the one who started it?
Did I start the theory? No.
Okay, when did the theory become a discussion topic in context of the time that the...
I think throughout the investigation, depending on what meeting you were in.
How soon after the killing of Christine Banfield did that come up is what I'm asking.
I think it came up once they were in a hotel and our intel detectives heard her call, ask if she could call her mommy.
I'm sorry,
What?
I think there were things that came out a couple of days after the murder that made people question whether this was a catfish or not.
Okay, so within days after the murder.
Correct.
Did you believe that it was a catfish?
I didn't believe that it wasn't one, but it was on the table that it could have been, absolutely.
Okay, and was that something that you discussed in command staff meetings?
I think that evidence and investigative avenues were discussed, but the actual word catfish, no.
Okay.
Until later.
So was it discussed in terms of assuming someone's identity, or how would it have been discussed in those meetings before saying catfish?
I think it would have been discussed as, has everything been done to prove one way or the other? Was this a setup or was it not?
And is that something you were bringing to the table, or is this something that...
I think it was a group discussion.
A group discussion?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so within days, the discussion turned to catfishing. And that's
not within days, no.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My view within probably a few days was a question of what really went on.
So in your mind, within a few days, catfishing was a possibility?
A possibility, yes.
And did you communicate that possibility to the people that were in the command staff meetings?
I'm sure we all were having the same conversations because I wasn't the only one that thought that.
I mean, is that something that you would oftentimes talk about in these cases?
Yes. Well, I don't think we've had a case like this, but I would have a conversation about the case that's being presented, absolutely.
Okay, well, I guess for purpose of your memory, would there be other times? I mean, if this is a pretty big case, and if you had suggested catfishing, that would be memorable.
I think you're confused as far as what I did. Whether I thought it was or not, it's not that I suggested it. There were meetings where plenty of people above me that believed the same thing. It wasn't just a Sally catfish, if that's what you're asking.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to get an idea of when you started talking about it as catfish. And I think you'd said you thought about it within a few days, but when did it become a viable theory to talk about in the command staff meetings?
I think you're confusing command staff meetings. What meetings are you referring to?
The ones that you just described where you're with command staff.
Those are different meetings than just a normal meeting talking about cases in the Major Crimes Bureau.
We'll talk about the normal meetings. In the command staff meetings, when was it that you started talking about catfishing?
Well, it was never discussed in an actual command staff meeting because that's the entire command staff, so it wasn't discussed then.
Okay. Were there breakouts?
I'm sorry.
Were there breakout meetings of the people that were involved? I'm just trying to understand where we're going.
And I'm trying to understand where you're going. I'm sorry, I really don't know what you're asking me.
So the only meetings that we've talked about at this point were command staff meetings that you said that you're involved with as one of the command staff personnel, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And what I'm trying to get to is when was it that catfishing was a theory amongst the meetings that you were attending, whether they're command staff or other meetings, whatever meetings you're attending?
Again, I think they're ongoing. There's meetings on that floor between the supervisors and the commanders on that floor. That's a different meeting than a command staff meeting.
It's not so important in my question as to what kind of a meeting it is. What my question's really directed to is, when did you start adopting that and talking about this in meetings?
This is not a point for me.
I don't have an actual date for you.
When was it in comparison to the returns on DNA, digital forensics, fingerprints, anything like that?
I think what happened is every single time some piece of evidence came forward that made you question what really happened, then that theory would come back up.
Okay, and do you know the time frame on that?
No, I don't.
Would it be a year?
She doesn't know.
Again, I think when you have an investigation like this, there's constantly meetings, there's constant conversations about it. So there were times where, hey, could it have been this? Are you looking at this? Versus talking about some other angle.
Okay, would it have been a month after the incident?
Judge asked and answered.
Sustained. And if you could move the microphone a little closer to you, Mr. Carroll. Thank you.
And further from you, witness.
So you don't remember when you would have talked about catfishing in a meeting?
The actual word catfish, no, I wouldn't remember that. I can remember when questions would come up about what happened that day.
Okay,
Yes.
and maybe it's my terminology that's a problem. When was it in meetings that you talked about the theory of what happened that day in the meetings?
It wasn't necessarily me starting those meetings saying that. It would be a meeting for an update on the case or what was going on with the case. And so everybody was having that kind of conversation. It was kind of a give and take.
Okay.
Which is normal in these kind of situations.
Sure, I'm just trying to understand. And so catfishing wasn't a comment or wasn't a name that it was given, but there were issues regarding the investigation. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay. And and I understand you're saying it evolves into something. When was it that catfishing was brought up as the...
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained.
You don't know?
Next question.
Okay.
You don't know. It was sustained.
On the day of the incident, were you involved with Brendan and Christine's daughter being brought to the safe spot?
What do you mean?
It was in a place where an interview took place?
No.
Okay. Were you involved with were you involved with any sort of discussion about trying to detain my client?
I'm sorry, repeat the question.
Were you involved on the day of the killing? Were you involved with anyone trying to detain my client at that point?
No.
Were you involved? Were you at the headquarters during the?
I was, yes.
And were you in the presence of Juliana or Valerie?
Juliana and Valerie are in one of our waiting areas where we have a victim waiting room with the advocate, not me.
Okay. And did you have any say in any sort of interviews of Juliana or the child while they were waiting there? Did those occur?
Not that I remember, but I wasn't there for that.
Okay. Was there any concern from you and the people that you work with about my client being released at that
Judge,
time?
objection calls for speculation. She can speak as to what was in her mind, but asking about others.
Rephrase the question.
What, if anything, what, if anything, were you worried about with my client being released that day?
Valerie's safety.
And Did you do anything to further that worry that you've just told for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Yes, I had received a call from Captain Bruce and Lieutenant Weeks, who was the homicide supervisor, and they were on the scene, and the concern was
Okay.
that he
Your
would
Honor,
not.
just, that's not responsive to my question, but
It was a yes/no question.
You asked her what she did.
No.
then she talked about a phone call.
Okay, all right.
What did you do?
I ended up getting a hotel for everybody, so they would all be in one hotel together.
Okay. And including my client?
Correct.
Okay.
And Juliana.
And at any point in that process, did you discuss detaining my client?
No, I have no authority to ask anyone to detain.
I understand, but you have the ability to discuss.
Objection argumentative.
Do you have the ability to discuss that with the police?
No.
So in terms of where you're concerned, you can't communicate to the police your concerns?
I absolutely can.
Okay, and in this case, did you?
I don't understand the question.
Did you discuss your concerns with the police on the day of the incident?
But what concerns are you talking about?
About my client being left out?
Again, I don't understand the question. I want to answer it, I just don't understand it.
Okay, and that's the case with some of my questions, so let me see if I can get it straight. The question of my client being detained or being released, was that a worry for you?
At the time, your client wasn't even in headquarters.
So you didn't have anything to judge that by?
No.
Okay. Did there come a time where you were concerned and you wanted him to be detained?
No.
So there's no communications between you and the police about that?
If I can go back to my conversation with Captain Bruce and Lieutenant Weeks, was where I was going with that.
Well,
unless you have one
let's just stay with what we're doing right now.
That we're going to
I'm
impeach her
talking
with.
about your concern about my client being detained, and I think you've answered that you had no concern at that time, correct?
No, it just wasn't an issue at the time.
Okay, when did it become an issue for you?
It never became an issue.
Okay, so it never really came up in terms of trying to detain him?
Is this a trap?
No, not that day, no.
Okay,
If that's what you're asking.
Yeah, that day.
Okay, no.
Now, do you know how long it was before he was reunited with his daughter Valerie that day?
I don't know. I know when I went to get everybody a hotel and they were together then.
Okay, and how long after the incident was that?
I wouldn't know the time.
Was it the same day?
It was the same day.
Okay. And were you, so you arranged the hotel so the family could stay outside of the home?
Correct.
And is that normal for your position when there's a crime scene, an active crime scene?
Yes.
Okay. And is it normal for there to be surveillance going on in a hotel like that?
I can't answer that. That's not my wheelhouse.
Okay, so you didn't have anything to do with having surveillance?
No.
Okay. Court's indulgence.
All right, yes, sir.
Wow. Fishing expedition. Apparently, Brendan's really upset about being monitored in the hotel that night. This attorney is fishing for what this witness.
Your Honor, I don't have any further questions.
Cross-examination.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
It's going to be quick.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Just briefly, can you explain what it was that raised the question of Christine Banfield having been set up?
Repeat the question, I'm sorry.
Sure. What was it? So Mr. Carroll went through with you repeatedly about when did catfishing become a topic of conversation? My question was one you were asked, but we're not able to finish answering. What was it that happened that raised in your mind the question of Christine having been set up?
At the hotel. So from my understanding, we had an intel detective in the lobby of the hotel that we had everybody in, and she had asked Juliana, can I call you mommy now?
When you say she, who are we
I'm
talking
sorry,
about?
Valerie. Said,
Valerie, Christine's daughter?
Yes, said, can I call you mommy now? Juliana, again, I don't remember her answer. She said yes. And then she said, are you going to marry my daddy? And Juliana said, I wish.
Okay. Thank you. I don't
Sure.
have any other questions, Judge.
All right, redirect. Or is this witness subject to recall?
What?
All right, you're free to go, ma'am. Thank you. Your next witness?
It was Valerie that asked the key question.
Detective Miller again?
Yes.
All right.
Better questions than the
Miller?
defense attorney, his own daughter.
He's already under oath.
Wow. Defense keeps calling witnesses. Prosecution on cross-examination lets defense know that they're scoring own goals. With each one of these witnesses, they're not gaining any ground. Oh, look who's back. Look who's back. Detective Miller again, already under oath. Bet that moved the needle. Yeah. Well, it implicates Juliana.
Bear with me, Detective Miller.
This is the guy that got moved from Intel Cyber to child SA, child abuse.
So you had an opportunity to listen to some of the witnesses today, specifically Lieutenant Giacchio, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And he indicated that he reviewed the digital forensics in this case, correct?
I believe he said not in its entirety.
Okay. Well, in his testimony, what did you hear him say?
That he reviewed things with me.
Okay. And the things that he reviewed, do you have any idea what those were?
Off the top of my head, no, there was a large amount of data in this case.
Okay. And in fact, you extracted nearly 60 devices, correct?
It was a large number of devices, yes.
You don't remember whether it was 60 or not?
It was in that neighborhood.
Okay. And so whatever data that you had extracted that you chose to share with him, would that have been the raw data that you extracted?
I believe everything provided was in report form.
Okay. So he didn't get into the level of detail that you get into in your analysis?
I would not imagine so. I don't recall raw data specifically.
Well, let me ask you this. You heard him testify. Did he ever sit down with you and ask you to go through your work?
Judge, at this point in time, I would object. I believe counsel is trying to impeach his own witness, Detective Giacchio, with this witness.
I'm not sure, but I'll overrule the objection for now.
Okay.
We'll see where we go.
Could you ask the question again, please?
He's impeaching his own
Did
expert
you
witness.
ever sit down with Detective Giacchio and explain your work that resulted in the executive summary?
I don't recall if I did it in its entirety.
Okay. Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury of the times that you did it? What were you telling him and showing him, and how he arrived at conclusions?
Well, again, it's a summary, and I believe at the top of it, it qualifies that it's not every artifact involved in this case.
Okay.
So there would be times we would go over aspects that there were questions about.
Okay. And did you ever agree with the things that he was saying about it?
Your Honor, objection, it's vague.
Quite.
Yes. Did you ever agree with his conclusions relating to your work?
Objection again, Judge, still vague. There were so many conclusions we've heard testified to.
Okay. Say, for example, on January 9th of 2023, the analysis of the opening of the email account. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you go into your conclusions and how you arrived there with him in any of those meetings?
Yes, I went through the devices that were involved based on the data extractions and the warrant returns, et cetera.
Okay. And I know you did because you made the decisions, but I'm asking, did you go through that with Lieutenant Giacchio on that specific day?
I believe that was one of the items we went over.
Okay. And was that something that he agreed with you on?
There was heavy discussion about being able to attribute activity to a particular person. And I believe I stated that in this field, barring external corroboration, it is difficult to attribute activity to a person. But given that devices were known to travel with somebody, it's logical to look for aspects where dominion and control may have been lost.
Okay. And in discussing that with him, did you find that at that time?
Objection as to form, Judge, find what?
That the devices, I'm sorry,
Okay, it's fine.
did you find what you just described, that the devices were separate from the person during the January 9th?
Again, without external corroboration, I can't determine the actual person behind the device.
Okay, I understand that. But your findings were that there's no evidence.
Objection asked and answered. He just indicated that he could not find.
Objection, next question.
In terms of that specific day, did Lieutenant Giacchio end up agreeing with your conclusions?
You won't remember.
I would say that there was disagreement over the way I had phrased the document.
The way you phrased it? Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry.
And so not relating to your analysis of the data, am I to understand that?
Repeat the question.
Can you clarify your question? I'm a little confused.
I'm just following up on your previous answer, and I'm trying to clarify the meeting between you and Lieutenant Giacchio relating to the January 9th, 2003 artifacts.
Judge, that's not a question. Objection.
You could phrase it as a question.
Yes. Just what I said. Did he agree with you as to those artifacts on that day?
An objection asked and answered. The witness testified that there was a disagreement over the way the document phrased.
Objection, if you can answer it.
I would have the same answer. There were disagreements over the way that I had written that document.
Okay. So on that particular portion of that document, there were disagreements. And my question, I think, that started this all was that relating to the data that you extracted and interpreted, or the characterization of it?
Characterization.
Again, I would say it was the disagreement was over what was on the paper.
Okay. And so when, in terms of that specific section, was there agreement at any point between the two of you?
There were a lot of things on that document, even on that day. As far as what the devices were doing, I think we were all in agreement the devices were doing what the devices were doing.
Right. But he wasn't in agreement with your conclusions.
Judge asked and answered.
Where are we going?
I appreciate, Judge. I'm not sure that it was.
Asked and answered.
Okay. So let's move on to another day that was a crucial day in this catfishing. January 23rd.
Objection to counsel's testifying.
Okay. How about January 23rd? Did you do an analysis of the devices on that day?
I am trying to recall the specific devices done on that day. Again, there were a lot of devices processed on a large number of days.
Do you have your reports with you?
I believe they're.
Is it all right, Judge, if he can retrieve that?
I think it's on the front.
Sir, go do the walk of shame. Go get your report, or the bailiff will do it for you. All right. I don't know this catfishing, the timing of the catfishing theory. I don't think it means as much unless the defense can see something here that I don't. It just doesn't seem to resonate. Like whether they thought of the idea the day of or the following day or 2 weeks later or a month later. Why does that matter when we're deciding guilt and innocence? Brendan. Brendan the defendant, not Brendan the witness. I think he's going to try to go back to that same question. I think the defense attorney is stuck on this, trying to get this answer. He feels he needs to get it. It might be the only thing he has left.
January 23rd, what year, sir?
2023.
Catfish is the whole prosecution case. If you could show that they had only that in their mind, and it seems like it, then that is a problem from an investigation standpoint. Tunnel vision.
I'm sorry, was the question a device that I processed on that date?
Yes.
January 2023 would have been prior to the
it would have been the artifacts relating to that date.
Do you know which device in particular? I mean, there are a lot of devices.
So I guess as a guide, I was trying to break it down as to specific days, but we can use your executive summary if you'd like to, and then go through it that way. Do you have that available to you?
He says whatever. This guy.
Yes, I have it here.
He does not want to be a witness in this trial.
I'm just pulling it up.
Is it a physical copy or is he doing it on an iPad or something? I don't hear papers rustling. They got rid of anyone who didn't agree, and then they got rid of the bosses that disagreed with the people who didn't agree. Because, they were in charge, so they got rid of everybody. Hellraising Angel, I agree that these witnesses have not been forthcoming. I think that defense should ask to be able to treat them as a hostile witness. And I think that's a serious oversight in his strategy here during this case. Nobody knows what we're waiting for. Witnesses staring at the jury, jury staring at the witness. Nobody knows what the defense attorney's doing right now.
Court's indulgence for 1 moment.
They're not hostile. They're just they are by role, they are the enemy in the case. They are on the other side. They're with the prosecution. They're on that team, which makes it a little difficult. Yes, they do. And we've had a lot of bad questions.
Do you have that handy, Detective Miller?
I have one in front of me, yes.
Okay. So let me ask you this. In terms of all the devices in this investigation, did you image all of those?
I extracted data from all the devices, yes.
Okay. And is that essentially imaging, or am I using the wrong term?
Imaging would imply depending on the circumstance, a bit for bit copy.
Okay. And in your extraction, did you extract all of the devices in what you deem a forensically sound manner, consistent with your training and best practices?
Yes.
Did you process the extracted data using forensically approved and verified tools?
Yes.
Listening to the testimony before, Lieutenant Giacchio testified that he received data extractions from you. Is that correct?
I don't recall his exact phrasing.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I don't recall the exact phrasing of his answer.
Okay. Did you ever give him data extractions that came from you?
Data was provided, no portable cases and Cellbrite reader reports. A lot of data was provided to a lot of people in this case.
Okay, specifically based on what Detective or Lieutenant Giacchio said. Do you remember what you had given him?
Not specifically.
And I think in previous testimony, you had testified that you'd given your data extractions to the lead homicide detective, correct?
Yes.
And is that just part of the routine of making sure he has the full case?
Yes, it's important to pass the data on.
And did you provide data to Lieutenant Giacchio and the detectives in the form of a magnet portable case?
Yes.
And or Cellbrite reader formats?
Yes.
Okay. Did those productions contain the same data you extracted from the respective devices and reviewed during your analysis in this case?
I believe so.
Maybe I'm just more sensitive to it. I think he's had a couple hostile witnesses on here. I think they were actively working, I wouldn't say against the defense, but actively working to thwart the defense's efforts to get information. I think we saw that. I think you could pick that up from their demeanor on the stand.
So I'm going to try to show you something here. Sir, do you see something on your screen?
I do.
Okay. Are those examples of the data that you provided to Lieutenant Giacchio?
There's screen captures and what appear to be a Word document that appear to have come from those, yes.
Okay. And
Judge, I apologize. It's probably just me, but is there any way we can zoom? I can't read a single word on the page.
Can you zoom that a little?
let me see if I can do that.
Use the embiggen button.
There you go.
Much better, thank
A
you.
little better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Sir, what is this?
This appears to be a screen capture from a portable case in a Word document.
Okay, are these the things that you provided to the lead detective and Lieutenant Giacchio?
These screen captures?
Or what these screen captures contain?
All portable cases and reports generated in this case were provided to Detective Bryant and others.
Okay. And do you know, were these same items provided in discovery? I'm just scrolling down.
I believe they were.
I'm just going to continue scrolling down so you see them. All of those items.
Just notice the defendant has a full-size pen. No stubby little pencil there. There's a lot of scrolling.
These are all the devices that you went through?
I don't believe it's all of them, but these are devices I went through, yes.
Okay, and are those devices that you provided to Detective Bryant and I guess based on his testimony, Lieutenant Giacchio?
Yes, these were provided to Detective Bryant.
Okay, but were these the things that you gave to Lieutenant Giacchio?
I believe he had access to all of them.
Okay, so you didn't actually give them to him, he just had access as supervisor?
I don't recall what I provided him directly.
Okay. Okay, so he had access, you don't know if you provided it?
Judge asked and answered.
Like 3 times.
You're on the court's indulgence for a moment.
Generally, this precedes the no further questions. The jury might be regretting their decision to come back on Friday, tomorrow.
Do you have, do you have the portable cases for these with you?
I do not.
Where do they reside now?
Right now, I believe they're on hard drives back at headquarters.
Okay. And would you have access to those in order to move them into evidence?
Right now? No.
Or in the future?
I have access.
Objection. I'm not sure.
Everyone approach.
Thank you.
Okay. He is trying to get the raw data. I finally saw where he's trying to go there. That question, would you have access to those in order to move them into evidence? Can I get a copy of these? I want all the raw data from all 60 devices moved into evidence. Why? Because once it's in evidence, then his expert can talk about it. Because his expert didn't look at that. He only looked at the reports, which were hearsay. why he's now trying to, I guess, subpoena this raw data. Why was it not turned over during discovery? Shouldn't all the raw data be turned over? He wants it admitted through this witness as evidence. Then he can get his expert back, the one they paid all that money to, who said, no, I only read the reports. Can maybe recoup some of their losses. That's worth a goat scream right there. That's pretty wild. If we can get that evidence in front of this witness, he did all the work. He would be the one to authenticate it. It is the return on the extraction. Is the entire extraction allowed in? What about all the hearsay and everything else that might be included in emails and text messages and everything else? How is he just now requesting this? I don't think it's. He might be asking for the physical copy because to submit this into evidence, he has to present it to the court. He has to turn it over to the clerk, right? It has to be numbered. They have to assign a number to it and say, okay, we now have this in possession. It's now in evidence. It can now be, maintained in the file and sent back to the jury once they begin their deliberations. He needs to have it with him. Apparently, he doesn't have it. I would invest in a high-speed printer really quick, and then it's going to be thousands and thousands of pages. Look at the deer in the headlights look from this witness. He's like, I do not want to be here. Anywhere but here. Are we digging through boxes? These long pauses. The jury's like, it's almost 5. Judge, can we just go home for the weekend? We've got milk, bread, eggs, beer, and toilet paper to buy before this storm. Can you please let us go? If all this comes in as evidence, I think the defense attorney could direct the expert witness to the right stuff pretty quickly. This is something he could do overnight. Saying, look at this and this data. What's your conclusion? Right? Because he only needs what? He only needs one. If he can look at this data and using the digital footprint show that it is impossible for Brendan or Juliana to have made certain FetLife logins based on where the devices were, what was happening with them, and where the Brendan and Juliana were at the time, That's reasonable doubt. Is that what he's going for? Does he have that one instance that he was able to pick out? And if so, why is he looking for the evidence right now to admit? I think the judge quashed it. I think he's trying to decide what to do next. I don't know. I don't think the judge shut down this line of questioning. This is right in line with what this witness did. This is expertise, his skills, his job, his role in this investigation. It's all pertinent to this investigation. They're extractions he did. I don't think it would be shut down for irrelevance. Possibly asked and answered, but I think they are staying until 5:30 today, which means we have another half hour.
Aaron, you see that on the screen?
Yes.
Sir, can you identify those? Or can you see them?
You might have to make it a little bigger.
Use the embiggen button.
Or maybe you can identify it as it is. I'm not sure.
This appears to be a screen capture of messages from one of the reports.
Okay. And are you familiar with the data that went into this screen capture?
Is it the data extracted from the device? Yes.
Okay. And what, if anything, do you see in this series of communications?
I see an item number titled Christine phone, and then I see messages below that.
Okay, and this is what data? Sorry. What day is identified in this?
January 9th,
okay,
2023.
And is that one of the important days in this case?
Yes.
Okay, what's the significance of January 9th?
That was the day the Gmail account was created.
Okay, and do you, what can you conclude by looking at this?
Okay, here we go.
Screenshot.
The messages were sent using this device.
And can you identify who the other device is?
I see a phone number.
Do you know that from your analysis of this case?
Not off the top of my head.
Do you know who was on WhatsApp of the people that were using devices in this case?
Multiple people were using WhatsApp.
Do you know who?
Say their names.
Other than Christine, who else communicated with WhatsApp with her?
Juliana.
Okay. In this situation, do you have any conclusions as to who Christine is communicating with?
Objection asked and answered. He indicated he doesn't remember the phone number.
Overruled.
In context, it would appear to be Juliana.
Okay.
So Christine is communicating with Juliana the day the account is created over they're communicating over WhatsApp. What's the timing?
And just for the record, I believe you had marked that prior to as defendant's 86.
86. Okay. Thank you, Aaron.
This could be the key piece that shows that, well, if they can prove that Christine was using the computer when the account was created, that would be massive. Or the phone when the account was created, whichever was used.
Aaron, did you see anything on the screen?
No. like your expert to help you?
Would you like your expert to help you with IT problems? I thought there was testimony that Christine and Juliana did communicate with WhatsApp regularly. Jeannie, thank you. So close to orange. A couple more months you'll be there. Thanks for your support. 10 months. These long pauses are terrible.
Sir, do you see something on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Can you identify the communication that you see there?
It appears to be Facebook messages.
And what, have you seen these in your own independent investigation?
I would imagine at some point in the last almost 3 years.
Okay. And when you were looking at these, specifically these, what let me have you look at. What is that?
It looks like a screen capture of details and artifact information.
And how would you extract an artifact like that?
A single artifact?
This particular artifact.
Well, the device would have had data extracted from it, and then that would have been put into a tool.
And this particular artifact, what can you gain from that?
Just what's on the page right now.
So can you go through that?
Objection. He's asking for the witness to testify to the document if he wishes to admit it. That would be the first step.
Your Honor, I'd move to admit this.
Do you have a number for me?
As, I do have a number.
The 109, I guess, if that's what you want to do.
109.
Okay, this
Any
is
objection to
Facebook
109?
Messenger.
Yes, Judge, relevance.
Overruled, I'll allow 109 in evidence.
And Judge, if I may, it's a document from 2021 and we don't know who it's purported to be between.
I overruled the objection, 109 in evidence.
Thank you.
Vote now. Okay, no.
Judge, give him a little bit of
What number
rope.
is this one then?
See if he can get there.
I just want to make sure I get the record clear.
Yeah, why don't we do this, if we can, Judge? Can we make this one 109?
Okay.
And the other one
10.
110?
All right, so 110, subtraction. This is 109. Any objection to 109?
Same objection.
All right, overruled 109 in evidence. Okay. I
Um,
think we're on the same page now.
Sir, do you see the connection between the communications here and the extractions? And I can go to the next page.
Again, these are screen captures from what I would assume would be a portable case, but I don't have the whole thing here.
Okay. And that's 110. And what do you see there?
Details of artifact information.
Now, when you, do you see the,
go back.
What appears to be a conversation going on?
Would this be 111 then?
111.
Okay.
Yes, I see messages.
And in terms of the messages, what's the, are any of the devices that you had extracted present on these communications?
I'm sorry, can you ask the question again?
Are any of the devices that you extracted data from present on these communications?
I see an item number and a label.
So answer the question. Did you extract that device?
And
is it Juliana's phone?
Are you talking about the yellow or the blue?
The blue, where it says local user.
Okay, and the label on that?
It has an item number and says Christine phone.
Now, did you hear testimony regarding Windows today or even days before?
I recall Windows being mentioned.
Okay, and in this communication, in your expert opinion, can you conclude a date as to the communication?
Judge, I'm going to object to the witness testifying to the contents of the document.
Do you wish to have this in evidence?
Yes.
Any objection?
Judge, I would object. It's hearsay. We do not have the speaker testifying.
111, Your Honor. This would be for as an extraction that he's identified.
I understand, but there's still hearsay in it is what the objection is.
Well, Your Honor, I would say that this is an extraction through digital forensics, through sound principles, which he's testified to.
It's still hearsay.
I understand that.
It's extraction of hearsay.
Inside that, there is hearsay. So I'll sustain the objection as to hearsay.
Okay.
About unavailable witness or what? You have to overcome the hearsay objection. It sounds like, and maybe we'll, thanks for...
Sir, do you see what is described as a discussion about Windows?
Objections coming.
I do.
And when does that take place?
Judge, same objection.
He hasn't moved it in yet.
Correct.
I'll allow that question.
I'm sorry, repeat the question.
Again, Judge, the objection is to the witness testifying as to the contents of the document.
I understand. I'll allow that question.
What date is the... Oh, it just went out.
State's trying to fight this. This is a discussion between Juliana and Christine about what, replacement windows? That she had known about this, that this was her plan? What?
I think I have a power issue.
Can you use another computer?
Is yours?
Expert witness. Have you charged your laptop? Because mine's dead. He says, I don't have mine. He uses different, I don't have it. That's the expert witness that the defense is still desperately trying to get on the stand to testify. Judge has allowed the expert witness to assist the defense attorney with his tech. The expert witness is not a lawyer. Oh. It's a different plug. Wow. Make sure you don't let it go to sleep, because then you'll have to call me up to unlock it again. It's 1 horse, 1.5 riders. There's the plug. Plug it right back in here. Boop, boop, boop. Boop. Mr. Carroll has elbow counsel. Yeah, I imagine if I was making a $33,000 purchase for the family, my wife would probably know about it long before I made the purchase. But that's just how we run our finances. It's more of an open book when it comes to that. Lizzie, good point. Sleeping during the day, keeping the road traffic noise and the music from the neighbors and everything else up. Excuse me. Could have been something that she was interested in.
Sir, the question was, before we lost power, the date that these communications were taking place.
And Judge, to clarify the objection, he's asking for information contained within the document, which is hearsay. If he's asking about the date they're extracted, yes.
Date. Your objection is overruled.
Okay, thank you.
That's 3 times she's overruled that.
6/20/2022.
Would this be 113 then?
113.
Okay.
Sir, based upon your extractions, based upon the information that you looked at from Christine's phone, do you recall this?
I don't recall doing a dive specifically into Windows.
Into the specific topic of Windows?
Windows came up much later in the investigation.
He didn't do any window diving.
And so when the Windows came up was during the initial recant in October, correct?
Yes.
Was that the first time you'd heard about Windows?
I believe so.
Had you been involved, would you have been in a position to advise whomever was there as to what the content was on her phone?
Possibly.
Okay. Were you ever asked about it?
I think later on, Windows came up. I can't recall the exact artifacts that I looked at, though.
And they came up because, well, let me ask you this. Did they come up because they were taking the orders and things like that were taken off of my client's laptop?
I recall conversations with Detective Bryant about Windows that came up later in the investigation.
Okay, and did you do anything to determine whether that was what Juliana Perez Magalhaes had said was true relating to the artifacts that you looked at?
I don't recall specific artifacts that I looked at relating to that.
If you had been involved when she first said that, or been in the room,
more speculation,
would that have been an opportunity to inform the questioner?
Judge, objection is to form. I don't think it's clear, inform the objection as to what.
Okay. In the room when the recant on October 25th, if you had been in the room, would you have had the ability to inform any questioner as to what the specifics of the window purchases were?
I don't think at that time I would have been prepared to do that.
if you had heard that for the first time, as many did, would you have been able to track that down?
Judge, I object to the form of the question. What is that?
Would you have been able to track down information relating to the window purchase?
Yes.
And what would it take in order for you to confirm or deny what she was saying in the recant?
Going through the devices, keyword searches, things like that.
Okay. And in this instance, do you see the writing on the screen?
I do.
I think that would be 113, Your
Yes, 113.
Is that what was done in this situation?
I don't recall making this screen capture.
Can you look at it and tell whether or not that's a search for Windows?
I could assume it is, but since I didn't create the screen capture, I don't know definitively how that came to be.
Sir, can you see the communication with what it says is Christine's phone on December 3rd, 2022?
Yes.
And the communication?
Judge, objection is to form.
I'll sustain the objection as a
Okay.
form.
What does this artifact indicate to you?
For the record, that's 115.
115.
Okay.
Again, it's a screen capture of artifact information. Says summary windows, which is highlighted in yellow.
And is that indicative of a search for Windows?
Again, I didn't create the screen capture, so I can't state how that came to be there.
Well, in terms of the
Sorry, I've had to mute my mic. We've had tons of fire engines
standards
going
that
by.
you live up to as an expert in digital forensics, is this something that you would require of yourself if you're doing a screen grab?
Objection is to form is what something he would require of himself.
The item that's on 115.
The artifact information here?
Yes.
When going through artifacts, yes, I would look at a breakdown of the data surrounding it.
And what can you opine about what you see there?
That it's a screen capture with a summary of windows. There's an email address associated with the calendar. Time zone is UTC. It's a calendar event.
And do you recognize the email that's being used?
I do.
Okay. And what email is that?
cbanfieldrn@gmail.com.
Okay. And is that her email, her personal email?
Objection, Judge, is that whose email?
Is that Christine Banfield's email?
Yes.
He's definitely pushing ahead. Stubbornly sometimes, but pushing ahead. Got 10 more minutes of this max. And the judge
You're
still
all
released
right.
the jury.
Move into evidence. Sorry.
They're going to object to this.
Defense exhibits 110, 115.
110 is already in evidence. 111 was
110 is admitted, 111 was already offered and
offered
denied.
and sustained. Yes, the objection was sustained. So we're up to, you want 115, which
Yes,
is
sure.
the last artifact.
Yes, 115.
115, no objection. 114, objection. Hearsay.
He only offered 115.
Oh, I thought he said 110 through.
I initially said that.
Okay, so 115 is in evidence. We can go there. Now, do you want 112? Are you looking for the other ones as well?
Yes, sure.
All right, let's go to 112. I just got to get it on the screen. Can you get 112 on the screen for me? Because I believe that's 109, 110, 111. That's 112.
112.
112.
Objection, hearsay.
All right, the objection's hearsay.
Your Honor, I would. May we approach?
Your Honor, I need this one. Can you give me a pass on the hearsay rule? I need this bit. Maybe. If it's an email from Christine, there are going to be ways to get around that. I think. Let's see how we can do this. Declarant unavailable. Let's see here. You can't use declarant unavailable if the statement's proponent procured or wrongfully caused the declarant's unavailability. Basically, if he killed her, you can't say, I'd like to bring this evidence in that she said. That doesn't work. You can't bring in statements from the victim saying she's an unavailable witness. Well, why is she unavailable?
So sustain 112 as hearsay. Okay.
We're about done for the day, guys. This is going to come to a stop. GQ bailiff back there is much more relaxed than the alert bailiff we had before him. This guy's just chilling. He's got his cross pens there in his pocket. Kicking back. Got the GQ with the hair, a little tuft over the glasses. Little wisp. Oh, and there's our other bailiff who's not taking his eyes off the defendant. They're both there. We're good. We're covered. We've got coverage.
Sir, do you recognize the data from this particular slide, slide 1?
For the record, we'll mark that as 116. Okay.
116.
It appears to be a screenshot of the CPRN920 gmail.com.
And what's the date?
January 9th, 2023.
Yes. Now, what are the 3 entries there as best you can tell?
They just appear to be potentially emails with subject lines. One of them is blank.
And the other?
One says Pix, the other says Pix 2.
And is this the email account that's alleged to have been created by someone other than Christine Banfield?
Yes.
Based upon your investigation? And what is this that you see here?
Screen capture of what appear to be logins with IP addresses and dates.
Okay. And do you, specifically January 9th, do you see that login?
I do.
And what does that indicate to you, and what device does that indicate is logging in?
Looks like a Samsung SMG 991U with Android 13.
And do you know who, whose device has that identifying characteristic?
If memory serves, 2 devices have that pedigree.
Have SMG991U?
If memory serves, Mr. Banfield's IRS phone also has that same, it's the same model number.
What?
That was 117.
117.
And now this
Did
is
we just shoot
118?
ourselves in the foot,
118.
Mr. Defense? Did you just try to prove that was Christine that did the login?
19 then?
Yes.
Instead,
You went back to 118.
I went back to 118. I
Okay,
think I hit 119.
All right, that's fine. 118.
Detective Miller, what do you see here in this slide?
Again, screen capture with IP addresses with what appears to be login information.
And is there anything you can get from that login information?
The user agent is on the right.
And how is that being logged in?
With a Windows device.
Can you tell whether that's a phone or a laptop?
if it's a Windows
Based upon
device,
what you see there?
probably not a phone.
From what I see there, it would be a laptop or a computer running Windows.
Okay.
Laura Leanne. I think we should start sending silly super chats for
Hit
Ari to read
119.
during these awful pauses. We're almost done. We have 1 minute. 1 minute. I will say, if you can't make it through a day like
Can you
this,
identify what that is?
lawyering is not for you.
I'm sorry, Judge, I can't even begin.
Alan, you can make that a little bigger maybe so you can see some of it.
I'll do that.
There you go.
My Amazon
Click on
card's
the
been
center
filling up.
column.
That's awesome.
Can you see that, sir?
Yes.
And what does it show? What does it indicate to you?
Again, it appears to be a screen capture with emails and artifacts.
And is there anything there that can identify what device was being used?
Not that I'm picking up from the screen capture immediately.
And is it any information that you can look at that can identify what device is being used?
That was the same
Judge, I
question.
think asked and answered.
Like word for word, same
Or
question.
what
device was being
how
used?
what email is being used?
I see the email address of cbrn920@gmail.com.
Okay. And
We're now in
and what do these
overtime.
appear to be to you?
We're in stoppage time on this game.
Email records.
Communications? And who are they
sure.
from?
I see a lot of FetLife. And then,
Hang on.
oh, they moved.
Oh, sorry, were you still looking at that? I was trying to give you something else to look at.
Nope, that's fine.
Christina Banfield was accessing
Can I
FetLife?
scroll down?
If you would like to.
Christina Banfield was emailing about FetLife? Is that what
Yes, I see FetLife.
And FetLife?
Yes, FetLife.
And more FetLife? Can you tell from the screenshot whether these, so are you satisfied that they're all FetLife? Just based on scrolling around?
Objection, I think that's a mischaracterization of the evidence.
I can see what's in the screen capture, but again, I did not create the screen capture.
Okay. But if you were trying to create a screen capture from digital forensics, this would be the form in which it would come?
It could be, depends on what I'm trying to take a capture of.
Is there a way for you to determine whether these are still active or they've been deleted, anything like that?
Active.
From this screen capture?
Yes.
No.
I can move it if you need me to.
I'm not seeing a deletion marker in this.
I'm sorry, what? The location marker?
Deletion.
You asked if I could tell if something was deleted from what I'm looking at.
Yes. Do you need me to move it to someplace where you could tell on this screen grab?
Well, if there is one, you need to move to that place. I can tell you that. This isn't his screen grab.
I don't think this screen capture has everything in its entirety.
What makes you say that?
If you scroll back up to the top. So if I were looking at it like in a portable case or in actual Axiom or something like that, I would be able to see all of the data fields. But since I didn't create this screen capture, I don't recall if there's any data fields beyond what was taken in the screen capture.
What kind of data fields would you include in your screen capture?
What was relevant, and if there were specific artifacts, I would try to tag them when appropriate or make them known.
And in terms of the FetLife account, in this case, what would be relevant for categories for a screenshot?
I mean, I would want to look at everything.
What more than what's here?
I'm turning into a zombie slowly. This is painfully slow.
Again, I don't recall off the top of my head what other fields would be on that. And again, this is a screen capture that I didn't create.
Okay, but if you could create any screen capture, what more would you want?
Objection asked and answered. He said he doesn't know what other fields would have been available.
If you could wave your fairy IT wand, what would you include on the screen capture?
Okay. And in terms of dates and times, things like that, can you opine about those?
I see dates and times.
And do you recognize a range of dates?
The bailiff's nodding.
They don't appear to be in chronological order. order. I see that they're jumping around.
Would these be maintenance records relating to the FetLife account?
Maintenance records?
Yes.
I'm not sure I follow.
Would these be maintenance emails?
What are maintenance emails?
Communications?
Please update your FetLife password. What?
They appear to be incoming communications from FetLife.
Okay, from FetLife to
who?
cbrn920@gmail.com?
Yes.
Okay, that's big.
And what, if anything, does that indicate to you?
That email address was receiving communication from FetLife.
That would indicate that that email address was used to log into FetLife at some point. That is big. That's the first indication we have.
I think 119 was the last one.
This is 119.
119. So 116, 117, 118, 119.
All right, we want to start with 116. Could you move back to 116?
If we can go back to what that was, I believe it was the screenshot of CBRN with the 1923.
Do you have any objection to 116?
No, Judge.
Okay, 116 is in evidence. 117, which is the next one.
This was her personal
Any
C.
objection to
Banfield
that?
RN email
No,
address.
Judge.
Okay, 117, and then 118.
It was active.
No,
as
Judge.
she could
All right,
see.
and 119.
This is not the email address
No,
they
Judge.
created.
All right, it should, just to clarify, should 119 be under seal since there are names of a lot of individuals that are not involved in this case?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is that okay with you, 119 under seal?
Yes.
Okay, 119 is an evidence under seal. We're going to stop right there, Mr. Carroll. I'm going to stop because we're already past
Okay.
5:30, okay?
8 minutes
So ladies and
past.
gentlemen, we're done for today. We'll start back up at 10 a.m. tomorrow. So don't do any outside research. Don't talk to anybody about the case, okay? We'll see you in the morning. You can stay right there for a second. It's fine.
We just walked 10 miles in a circle to end up 2 steps forward. Defense took us on a long detour, but they did make progress right at the end. This is big, and I think it's important that they end right here. The way I'm understanding this, the email address that was used to access FetLife that shows that it was receiving communications like, hey, come back, we've got a special, or we haven't seen you in a while, or thanks
Since
for
you're still in the
logging
middle of your
in.
testimony, don't discuss your testimony at this point with anybody, okay? All right, thank you. You can step down. All right, so have we worked on jury instructions?
Mine are in my office right now. I'm going
Okay.
to send them to them tonight.
All right, 9 o'clock tomorrow, we're going to go over jury instructions, okay? 9
That's
a.m.
fine, Judge.
Tomorrow, we'll do jury instructions. How many more witnesses do you have after Detective Muir?
Potentially 3.
3 witnesses, so you should be done tomorrow, is that correct?
I don't know.
Okay,
Could be, I don't know. It could be long.
You promised the judge.
I'll try.
all right, we'll see about that. And then you said your rebuttal evidence is very,
The judge promised the
It's not
jury.
Judge, I think, yes, we have 2 witnesses at most.
okay. So there is a possibility we might be able to get done tomorrow. My goal would be to get done with the evidence tomorrow, and then have closing arguments whenever we come back from the snow. Have our jury instructions already done and closing, if we can get there, okay? But I understand your witnesses. If we don't get there, we don't get there.
Right.
But if we have a 5-day break in between something, that's what I'm trying not to do. I want to try to get all the evidence in and then have a 5-day break and then do closing arguments. But,
Right.
I mean, if we can, if we have to stay a little longer tomorrow night, I don't think any of them would mind. So
Right,
keep that in
right.
mind to be ready to
I think they
finish
would.
everything tomorrow, if we can.
Judge, we were ready to finish everything today.
Well, I understand that. Okay, if it can be done.
Judge, as a little update, we just were told
I
that
was just saying there's a nationwide Microsoft outage causing our email to be down.
Causing what down to be down?
email to be down.
Our email in our office is
I'm, okay, well, you'll figure it out. I'm not worried.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
The other thing, not just
Use
another
Gmail.
housekeeping matter, exhibits 10 and exhibit 16 have the included pages.
10
And I can share that with council
let me
and then
go
we can address that tomorrow.
back to defendants 10?
Yeah, 10 and 16, Judge, there were the letters that it said
that
2
were
out of 3.
truncated. Yes, the letters that were 2 out of 3 pages, and then the other one just stopped after
Okay.
2 pages, and we anticipated that there was more.
All right, so you need to add more to one of these.
They're already done. I'm just going to share them with council and then we'll be ready to.
All right, but 10 was never submitted into evidence.
Correct.
Only
It was
11. So we have to update 11. But we need to update 10 as well. 'Cause
We would need
Well,
to
10 wasn't
both.
submitted because the
It
one-
wasn't,
the one page
They were not
was-
admitted.
So now 10 is admitted.
Once you
get it.
I'll share that with them
All right.
if
10
Microsoft Edge
and,
doesn't.
was the other one, 11?
16.
16, 10 and 16, okay, got it, I got the 2, all right.
And so we
So
can
as
do
soon as we
that
get
first thing.
First thing in the morning, we can take care of that. I'll see you at 9 o'clock with your instructions. Okay.
Yes, if council wants to send that early, I mean, we're still waiting on yesterday's exhibits, so.
Oh, we don't have 82 yet?
I have a video that has been downloaded on the hard drive.
Yeah, we haven't looked at it yet, reviewed it.
I have, yes.
Okay, so that is 82.
Correct.
So we have 82 and 83.
I don't have 83 because it was under seal.
Okay.
But the one that well, actually, I think I do have 83. It was the one that he gave me that was.
Right, I understand that, but you have all the videos there. But do you need today's video?
I do need today's without audio.
And Judge, what I'm raising is the Commonwealth is still missing yesterday's exhibits that were supposed to be submitted by close of day. We never received copies. We addressed this morning that the link that was shared did not allow us permission. So
Oh, right,
we
'cause it
still
went
haven't,
back
I
to-
can't confirm.
So
that-
82 and 83, you need, can we email?
I can email it. I can save it and email it to you all if you.
That's fine.
Well, we'll email 82 and 83 to you.
Okay,
Shannon
thank
will.
you. And then anything for today.
And then anything for today.
82, so to clarify, 82 is the continuation of Beckner's video, the second half.
Correct,
Okay,
yes.
we don't, we need to see what's been submitted. I still don't
Right.
know.
That's fine. 82, you need 82 and 83, and then whatever from today.
Yes.
Okay? All right. We can do that. All right. Anything else?
I don't think so, Judge.
Okay. All right, 9 o'clock.
Thank you.
All right, now we're done. Now we're done. Holy cow, that was a long day. Need a flowchart. What I gathered of this last little bit, the part that was crucial that I think the defense made progress on, if I understand correctly, is that Christina Branfield's actual email address, the one she used on her device regularly, not the one they created pretending to be her, but the one she used on her device, that email address was receiving FetLife communications from the website, which would indicate that the email address was shared with FetLife at some time, possibly as a login, as a user ID. That could be used to make the argument that there is evidence that she was aware of the website and may have even participated in the website. I think that's big. I think that's huge. The state fought that really hard to prevent that from coming in, but they got that far. So that would be quite interesting. And I think it goes against what the state says that she was completely off guard and didn't know anything that was going on. Well, that might not be exactly true. I don't believe it, says Joan, because there's no proof. Well, the proof they're talking about is the email, the digital fingerprint in her phone that shows that she was receiving FetLife emails on her personal email, the one she had access to, not the one that they created that she didn't know about or didn't have the password to, but the one she had access to. She was getting emails from that. Imagine if you share your email with, say, like some nefarious e-bike company online, and they start emailing you and telling you about all their new promotions, and hey, we've got this new feature on our website, or hey, would you like to get a free test ride, or whatever it is. You'll get those emails, and if you sometimes you call it spam. Those sort of things were showing up in her email account, according to what we heard, which is a big deal. All right, Office 365 is out nationwide. Good. I mean, I wouldn't say good. It's not like I have something personally against Office 365, but wasn't Microsoft the first company that sort of switched from, hey, you buy the software, you get to use it for as long as you want, to that now we're going to rent it to you annually? I say good riddance. I didn't like that switch. I don't like the buy it once, buy it again later idea. But I get spam all the time from sites. Yeah, sometimes that may be the case. And I guess the content of the email would be more important to understand exactly. Whew. Hey, would you like to be an e-bike salesman? I'm hiring, apparently. I've had 2 more communications with the e-bike manufacturer. It did come to my attention that they partially removed my data and partially did not. I'm still listed just on a different part of the website. Maybe the e-bike store will make a big comeback. Maybe it'll be back after all. There's still hope. There's still hope. Tonight, when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better. Please stay safe. We go live again tonight at 8 p.m. with the podcast, the Not Relevant Podcast, which may have some relevant information to you about the coming storm. So do be here tonight. Thomas and I will be here. It'll be a blast. We'll have a lot of fun. We've got some good stories lined up. Some that will maybe make me cry just a little bit. And involve Walmart. All right. Oh, hang on. One second. We've got a phone call. If I can plug it in time. It's perfect timing. Let me mute this. Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Are you
Good
there?
afternoon. My name is Maeve. We're contacting people in the state of Utah whose Medicare files show unclaimed reimbursements or cost adjustments from 2025. We're verifying those during the 2026 enrollment.
I need to talk
so
to
you
a
don't
computer.
miss those out. So you do have Medicare Parts A and B.
I need to talk to a person, not a computer. All right, where were we? Somewhere in this song somewhere. It was almost over. I'm not in the state of Utah. Clearly, they're mistaken. All right, we're just going to let the music just fade out and pretend that we went to the end and it was all good. Thanks for sticking with us today. I appreciate it. You guys are all amazing. Thank you very much for our moderators who both stuck with this very painful testimony, as well as the difficulties of chat when there's very painful testimony online. Yes, podcast tonight, 8 p.m. on this channel. Please join us for that. We apologize in advance if it's not what you're looking for. But at least you can check it off your bucket list. I attended a Not Relevant podcast live. Check. That'll be tonight. You have to stay for the whole thing, though. That's to get the star. You guys be good to each other. Stay safe. Prepare. I'm not sure. It's too late to fill propane. They only fill propane during daylight hours, right? I might have to just buy pre-filled canisters. All right. You guys are amazing. Have a good night. Be good to each other. We'll see you a little bit later tonight. And until then, peace.
You don't put a dip of